This is Roots FM 102.7. Your key. Beaming from Central Monrovia. This is Roots FM 102.7. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Liberia versus Zimbabwe on Sunday, November 18th at the SKD Sports Stadium in an African Cup of Nations qualifier. Game time, 4 p.m. Tickets are on sale in all Orange stores and POS. VIP, $300 United States dollars. Around VIP, $50 United States dollars. Stadium wing, $5 US dollars. And around the field, only 200 Liberian dollars. So come on and see players like William Jibbo, Tia Dennis, Anthony Lafleur, and many more as we cheer our national team to victory. It's Liberia versus Zimbabwe in an African Cup of Nations qualifier on Sunday, November 18th at the SKD Sports Stadium, brought to you by Orange, official sponsor of the Liberia national team.
It's all about what matters to you. Orange.
Princess, come for your money I promise to give you.
Thank you, Mama, but please give it on this Sunday.
Monica fee. You want me to give your money until Sunday? Why?
Because it's Orange Lucky Sunday. I want to win a 4G smartphone. I want to use it for all my homework from school.
Very good, child. And also to chat with friends on WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat. Hey, look out there.
But Mama, you know, man, I gotta be all the cheese too now.
This and every Sunday is Orange Lucky Sunday. This Sunday, recharge $1 or more between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. and you stand a chance to win a 4G smartphone. Orange Lucky Sunday.
It's all about what matters to you. Orange.
What? Not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 million. My people, you come for me.
Yes, now, with Orange Sucker Christmas, we inside. Recharge $1 or above to win big every day. Win a shopping cart race every week. Win $1 million Liberian dollars. And if you recharge every week till Christmas, you stand a chance to win $5 million Liberian dollars. Use any service of Orange Money to double your prizes.
It's all about what matters to you. Orange.
The Liberia Chess Federation will host the National Chess Championship Tournament this November 16th to the 24th in Monrovia with big cash prizes, titles, ratings, and rankings to win. And the Giants are out for the catch. Like Rain Chan, FM Bakon Harman, FM Jacob Jalla, and other top-rated chess players like John Jalla, Anthony Williams, and GM killer Joel Ebequita, who will reign supreme with cash prizes of $750, $500 and $250 in the men's category, and $500, $250 and $150 in the women's category. It could be a clash of the titans. Registration for the tournament is now on for just $25 US and ends on November the 10th. So rush now and buy your space. There will also be cash prizes for young and upcoming chess players. For more information, call 0886-549-479 or 0-777-969-860. It's the Liberia National Chess Championship Tournament from November the 16th to the 24th in Monrovia City. Excuse me, I'm checkmate. Don't miss it. Just like no.
Looking looking for a reliable, effective, and efficient company to handle your clearing, forwarding, and logistics needs, the place to turn is Global Clearing and Forwarding Firm. Global Clearing and Forwarding Firm, with over 7 years of existence, has a crop of experienced, customer-focused, and industrious professionals, led by its General Manager Bill Bemba Passaway II, who is always available to provide the services you need. Global Clearing and Forwarding Firm specializes in clearing, forwarding, transporting, warehousing, and logistics management, and has the capacity to pre-finance your work. At Global, we strive to go beyond the ordinary and deliver the perceived impossible in our quest for excellence. Our offices are located on Broad and Gurley Streets, first floor Raymond Building. For more information, contact us on cell numbers 0777-711-888, 0886-477-553, or 0777-005-555, or better still, email us at gforwardingfirm26@gmail.com. Global Clearing and Forwarding Firm. We live for our customers. We keep our promises.
Assurance.
Mom!
Yes, Mom.
What kind of song you singing so? That really?
Look, Kai, you are really making it on your browsing list here. Haven't you heard about the country giants in telecommunication business in Liberia that provide fast, reliable, and affordable internet and other related services?
No! Papa, be serious, man. Let it cheese on me.
Man, that the telco, the Liberia Telecommunication Corporation, is the national operator for all telecommunication services across the country, man.
Seriously? So what are some of the services they provide?
Now you are talking. The telco provides the faster internet service, and that the one where people can call fiber optic broadband internet. Yes, man, with that, your internet will not even be so set. It will be so fast. I hate to say you are using 100G, man. It can even be used in schools, hospitals, churches, malls, offices, homes, and even in high schools. Is that all? No, man. The telco also provides co-location, dark fiber, and other ICT reported services.
So where can I subscribe for this service?
To subscribe, you can visit their office at the corner of Lee and Broad Street, or contact them through their email sale@thetelco.com.lr. For more information, you can call these numbers 0778-250-190, 0778-250-191. For Lone Star, 0881-551-949, 0881-551-948. The telco empowering like true travel uptake broadband facilities.
To the beautiful plains of the west coast of Africa through the coastal city of Accra, the commercial city of Lagos, and the seat of power of Abuja. Fly airfield from Monrovia to Accra, Lagos, and Abuja. Our flight and cabin crew are professional, courteous, and full of fun. Check in 2 pieces of free luggage, totaling 42 kg in economy class and 50 kg in business class, and earn peace points anytime you fly airfields. For your bookings, log on to flyairfields.com or visit Lucky Travel and Tours, Broad Street, Monrovia, Liberia, and Airfields office at the Ramos International Airport in Magidi County. Airfields, your peace is our goal.
Winners Incorporated makes you go crazy. Wrestling and 4 p.m. for the second time this month. We will placing the quarterfinal of the EML Cup. Mauricio Pochettino is preparing a side for an 8-game period that could be 5 p.m. season. West Ham are hopeful for having better
Station, but not until I met my inspiration. Roots FM 102.7.
Beaming from Central Monrovia.
All right, folks, good morning. Welcome to the program. I'm Henry Costa, your humble servant. This is a platform where we discuss the issues that matter. Today is Wednesday, the middle of the week, the last day in the month of October 2018. It's 7:31 a.m. in Monrovia and 3:31 a.m. in Wilmington, Delaware, the first state in the United States of America. You know, when I was growing up, there was this misconception that America has 52 states. And there are lots of people who actually believe that then. And perhaps there's still lots of people who believe it now. But, of course, that's not true. America has 50 states. It has territories, Guam, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, the Samoan Islands. Those are not states. No, they are not states. They are territories of the United States. Washington, D.C. is not a state. It's the district. And so, yes, America does have 50 states, not 52, 50. Of course, that's why they have 50 stars in their stars and stripes. Good morning, Fidel.
Good morning, Fidel.
Why are you laughing? Just a little bit of education there. You know, a good friend of mine told me the other day, she said, you know, Costa, you guys should actually spend a little bit of time on the show each morning to talk about some important things, like educate people. Like yesterday, I started by talking about Lebanon. Lebanon is the only country in the world that has way more of its citizens outside of Lebanon than inside of the country. Yeah. So today I'm correcting a long-held Liberian fallacy or misconception, which is that America has 52 states. That's not correct. Puerto Rico is not a state. Guam is spelled G-U-A-M, is not a state. The U.S. Virgin Islands, well, they're not a state. They're not states. They are territories of the United States. All right, Fidel, you want to say something there?
Oh, yes. It feels good to be here this morning, and I hope you're doing great. Your voice is a bit exciting, sounds a bit exciting.
My brother, there's a lot to be happy for.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
After the firing on yesterday, I've been in a bad mood. The video you posted, as a matter of fact, told me that they informed me that you actually had a change of mood, but that's it.
Yeah, the thing with me is that my mood
switch off.
Yeah, my mood can be like the weather. You know, you can go from being bad to being okay and being great. You know, that's the way I am. I'm gonna say the volatility. We're all like that. It's intrinsically human. One day, one moment you could be angry, the next moment you could be, but that's the way it is. So we have some interesting developments here. President Donald Trump is seeking to do something that even members of his party, including the Speaker Paul Ryan, has already come out sharply criticizing him for. President Trump is proposing to use the powers of executive order to end the rights of people to come to this country and give birth, and their children automatically become citizens. They call it citizenship by birth. America has several forms, several ways in which one can acquire the citizenship, you know, and of course the most common way is to be born in this country. The law states that once you're born in this country, that is if you are not, say your parents are not diplomats, if your father is the ambassador or is an official diplomat of a foreign country working within the United States, and your mother, who's married to your diplomat father, gives birth to you here in the States, the law states that you cannot become an American citizen because you are covered by another country's flag. But if you are just an ordinary person and you come to this country and you give birth while in this country, your child automatically becomes an American citizen. It's called citizenship by birth. It is a right that has been enjoyed by hundreds of years by people who came to this country whose parents came to this country and gave birth to them in this country. They don't necessarily have to be immigrants. They can be visitors. And lots of Liberians have benefited from that. They will send their spouses, sometimes even their girlfriends, to give birth in the United States. They will come as visitors on a B1, B2 visa. And when they give birth here, their children automatically become American citizens. That's the way it's worked. Now, President Donald Trump has proposed that he wants to end that. He wants to end the whole practice of citizenship by birth, even though it is something that's guaranteed by the Constitution. So he's seeking to use the power, the executive powers, to do that, to issue an executive order. And then so that is something, that's a debate in America right now. Of course, the midterm elections are not far away. They're only a week away. Not even a whole week. It's only a few days away. Yeah, November the 4th, Americans will be going to the polls to vote. And it's very important. It's a tightly fought race. Everything is on the line. The Democrats are trying to win back Congress, and Donald Trump is doing his best to continue so that they can hold the majority that they enjoy in both the Senate and the House of Representatives. Now, yesterday, some of you are concerned. I did pay a visit to the doctor, to the chiropractor, as they are called. A chiropractor is a doctor who specializes in dealing with people's bones and spines and all that kind of stuff. So you see, I'm sitting up like this. So the doctor advised. They did an X-ray, and I'm telling you because a lot of people have been asking me how was my doctor visit. So they had an X-ray done on me, but before they did the X-ray of my back, my lower back, as I've said, I've been experiencing for about 7 to 8 months now. On and off severe back pain in my lower back, and then of course about 3-4 weeks ago, another dimension of it is burning sensation. It will begin to burn and feel warm and hot, and then it will go off. So I've been experiencing that as well. So I went to the doctor yesterday, the chiropractor, and she ran some tests, put me on the thing, did the X-ray and all that kind of stuff. And I was afraid. I was afraid that it was going to be terrible. And she said to me, well, from what I see so far, you're heavy. I'm 244 pounds. That's pretty heavy. Even though I'm 6'3", I'm very tall. But still, she says that I've been putting too much pressure on my spine, on my disc. I don't properly sit. Sometimes you sit in that sluggish way. You sit like that. You just throw your body like that. And of course, we're getting older, and that wouldn't apply to Fidel. Fidel that Peking. He got many years before he reaches my age. But at 36, she says that. I was like, wow, 36, and she's telling me I'm getting older. Wow. So I don't have the luxury of sitting in a certain way now. So she did all kinds of physical therapy with me. I'm going back on Friday for her to read the X-ray result to tell me what's actually there. But she was able to do some things to crack my bone, try to set it into a proper position and stuff. So, and then apply some ointment there and put, like I'm wearing something on my back right now, you know, like some sort of adhesive tape or something like that. Yeah. And then, of course, I have to sit in a certain way. So you see, I have to sit with my chest up like a soldier so as not to put too much pressure on my, on my disc. Yep, on my disc. So that's what she said to me. So, but I'm okay. So far, so good. She doesn't seem to believe that is a serious problem. Yep. She doesn't seem to believe that. Okay. So, folks, now I did a video yesterday. Lots of you want to know whether I still feel that way. I did a video yesterday expressing my disappointment in President George Weah. And I said that was strike one or count one. And I guess some of you wouldn't hear, what do I mean by that? Is Costa still feeling the way he felt? Yeah, I still feel the way I felt yesterday, and I will talk about it today. Of course, I will talk about it. Do I still feel disappointed? You see, contrary to what some of you believe that I'm working for the government. I'm working for Joe, yeah. That they the one can pay my house rent. They the one can pay my bills. My school I've been in for almost 3 years now, that the government been paying my school fee even before the government came into power. That's what some of you believe. My car I drive, you believe that Joey bought it for me. That's what you believe. My son is in Italy going to a good school there. You believe that he's paying my son's tuition. Of course. That's how you do. That's how you insult people. You know, when somebody disagrees with you, that's how some of you believe. By the time you disagree with Liberian men who hold a different view, you are a sellout. You are this. You are that. But I want to say this to you. I support this president, and I've said it over and over, because I want him to succeed for the sake of the Liberian people. But my support is contingent on his performance. As long as I see him, I believe that he's doing the right things in the interest of the Liberian people, I will continue to support him. And if he does something that I don't like, I will also say it. Because you know why? My eating pain is not in his house. If he doesn't like what I say, I will not starve. My son will not starve. My family will not starve. That is the point. I survived 6 years under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, under some of the harshest conditions. I went to jail 2 times, had my radio station shut down, went to Honorable Uri station, had it shut down. If I could survive under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for 6 freaking years, well, you think I can survive now? I can. I definitely can. I just want some of you to understand that. If you go and sit with people and negotiate a deal and say, you know what, I'm surrendering myself to you, pay me money so that I can be your mouthpiece, then you have no independence. Then now you become subservient. They can control you. They can manipulate you. But that, I have no such deal with anybody. And I can never. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf tried to be nice to me on so many occasions. She gave me money. She wrote to the U.S. Embassy for a visa for me. She did this. Rob Sirleaf tried to be nice to me. So many people in the last government tried to be nice to me. Yet, I was never loyal to the government. You see, some of you don't get it. If you let people know that they can buy you, then you are a worthless piece of whatever. People should never feel that they can buy you. When people feel that they cannot buy you, when you make them know that you cannot be bought, then they respect you. So, when I have a problem with the president, I will publicly say it. Because first of all, I'm not a damn punk. Secondly, I don't work for him. I want him to succeed. I'm not going to be bitter and angry because he whipped us in the elections. No. But at the same time, I will give him my support to succeed. But if he does something that disappoints me, I will publicly say it. I will not call his people in the government and tell them, oh, you know, I feel bad because of what you're doing. No, I will not do that in private. You know why I will not do that in private? And they all must know that. We all have a place in our country. I am an opinion leader. There are thousands and thousands of Liberians that look up to me. Whether they like it or not, it is a fact. So, people people look to me. Those who look to me, the people who look to me, I'm responsible to set certain standards, to live up to certain expectations. I am responsible to do that. So when somebody does, when I have to think about the way I behave, because I'm not just an ordinary private citizen. People get, that's why when I say certain things, people go on Facebook, they get vexed, they cuss me, they do this, do that. Why do you do? Even the people who get mad and do posts about me every day on Facebook, you know why they do it? Because they too have expectations of me. Now their expectations may be ridiculous, and I've said this over and over. Whenever I blast this government, and I'm going to blast them this morning I'm going to blast the president, and I want you all to know this. Whenever I blast this government, this president, it will not be because I'm doing it for Alexander Cummings. It will not be because I'm doing it for Bernard Uri. It will not be because I'm doing it for Joe Blocker. It will be because I'm doing it because my conviction tells me it is the right thing to do. I do not wear any political cap. I do not wear any political lenses. My kaleidoscope is purely Liberian. It's one that's inspired by my sense of patriotism and nationalism. And so I will criticize the government when the need arises, but it will not be as a politician. Let the politicians do their politics. And I've said this to you people. Those of you who want me to be an antagonist to the government because I'm supposed to be opposition, I'm not dealing or criticizing this government because I'm an opposition. I will criticize because I am a Liberian. Now, why am I vexed with the president? I'm vexed with the president because Safwa May Gray, the incompetent, inexperienced president of NOCAL that the president appointed, the National Oil Company of Liberia, beat her chest and said she was going to make sure that the Director General of the Liberia Petroleum Regulatory Authority will be fired. She said, I will make sure he's fired. I will make sure he's fired. And she went ahead and she did it. She said it and she delivered. So I'm saying to myself, so Safwa May Gray can have President Wheeler dismiss people because she doesn't like the person. Because, you know why she had George Weah fire the guy? Because she said Edward Smith was the guy who was feeding me information about the way she was recklessly conducting herself, refusing to carry on with the transfer of functions from NOCAL to the Petroleum Regulatory Authority. Now, why am I, this NOCAL thing, why am I so concerned about it? Why am I so fixated about this NOCAL thing? Because NOCAL has been a blight. B-L-I-T-H-E. It's been a blight. It's been a dent. D-E-N-T. A dent on the country's image. Only recently, under Ellen Johnson's relief. So, our international partners got up and said, look, they spent millions of dollars to do reform, to remove many of the functions, the regulatory functions that NOCAL has, to divest NOCAL of those functions and transfer those functions to a regulatory body that would conduct bid rounds, that would issue licenses, exploration, mining, drilling licenses to the LPRA. President Weah, when he was in the Senate, he voted for that bill to create the Liberia Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The Americans, the Norwegians, the European Union, they all were involved with that process. Global Witness was involved with that process. We all were saying NOCAL cannot be a player and be a referee at the same time. NOCAL cannot be the company that will issue the exploration licenses to the oil firms, and at the same time, NOCAL is the one that monitors them. NOCAL is an oil company. NOCAL is collecting fees. NOCAL cannot play all of those roles. That's what our international partners said. And they went ahead, they made a change. They created the agency. They put money in the budget. Part of the money is to be transferred to the Liberia Petroleum Regulatory Authority. Ms. Safwa Gray says she's not giving them the money. Ms. Safwa Gray has refused to follow the timeline to establish to give full powers to the LPRA. And some of you are like, who cares? Costa, what is LPRA? Who gives a damn? But this is the mistake you do. The mistake you make. The reason NOCAL became the mess that it became is because NOCAL had so much power. They have wide-ranging powers. They issue licenses, they regulate the sector, they collect money, they do this, they were doing everything. And our international partners said it was wrong. And they came in, they invested millions of dollars. They brought experts to help us draft the law, to structure the entity. And today, under President George Weah, we are retrogressing. We are undoing the gains that were made instead of going forward to consummate the process by making the forced transfer of powers from NOCAL to the LPRA. President Weah's government is preventing that from happening. No serious oil company will come to Liberia to participate in any big rounds conducted by NOCAL. No, they will not. They are waiting for the LPRA to be. I don't care who Weah appoints at the LPRA. He wants to appoint an alien from Mars. It is his prerogative under the Constitution. It is his power. It is within his power to do so. This is not about why he fired the man. I mean, the particular individual he fired, but firing the man because Safwa Megri doesn't like the fact that Edward Smith challenged her. That she believes Edward Smith is the one that gave me the information. That is my point. Some of you are sitting there, and this is a strict governance issue here. What is my qualm? My qualm is the LPRA needs to be structured. It needs to function. They need to do bid rounds for oil companies to come to the country to participate in bid rounds conducted not by NOCAL, but conducted by the LPRA. That is my point. It is the point that I'm making. It is the point. That's all I'm saying. President Weah can hire whoever he wants to hire as Director General of the LPRA, but the transition process must take place. NOCAL must be divested of those powers because the Europeans, the Norwegians, the Global Witness, they all were involved in this process. And so instead of making progress, this government is taking us backward. When it comes to that particular thing, it's a matter of transparency. It's a matter of attracting respect, exuding confidence in the oil companies and our donor partners who invested their millions in doing this process. And one little girl, Safwa Megri, has decided she's not going to allow this important process to be consummated. She's not going to allow it. What does she do? She influences the dismissal of the Director General of the LPRA. Now, like I'm saying, I don't give a damn about Edward Smith. So President Weah can appoint whoever he wants to appoint. But to fire the person because Safwa Megri threatened that she would make sure it happened, and it's happened, that is my problem. To prevent, to stall the transitional process, to stall the transfer of powers from NOCAL to the LPRA, that is my problem. And if you're not concerned about it, then you should not be concerned about any governance issue in the country, because this is critical to the survivability and the resuscitation of our moribund hydrocarbon sector. There's no activity in our basin. 30 oil blocks, 13 deep water and 17 ultra deep water oil blocks. All our entire hydrocarbon basin fell inactive years ago. No oil block, no drilling operation is taking place. All of the licenses that were held by oil companies were abandoned. They relinquished those licenses and moved on. Now the interest is picking up again. Oil companies want to come back to Liberia, but they were waiting for this process to be consummated, for the LPRA to be created and given the powers that they need to be able to conduct the kind of regulation and monitoring and stuff. They wanted to see that happen. And now, instead of consummating or going and completing that process, this government has decided that they are not going to do that. That is my problem. And contrary to what some of you feel, if I was, say, a little lackey of this government, a little poodle, of course I would be afraid to criticize the president. But I am extremely disappointed in the president for not supporting the continuation of this process to be completed. That is my disappointment. I'm extremely disappointed. And I didn't want to say this in private. I wanted to say it in public. I wanted to say it in public. And this is exactly what I've said. I'm disappointed in George Manuel Weah. And that's strike one. That's strike one. The next time something bad happens that I'm disappointed in, I will also come out and say it. Strike two. I just want you to know that. This country does not belong to CDC. It does not belong to George Weah. It belongs to the people of this country. I support George Weah because I believe him to be a good man. Yes, I campaigned against him during the elections. Viciously campaigned against him. And if the elections were held today, perhaps I would still vote for Joe Boakai and Bernard Ayure in the first round. But that doesn't matter now. President Weah is president. And so far, he has shown me on many occasions that he's a good man. That he has a good heart. But that doesn't mean I will give him a pass on everything. I will not give him a pass on everything. We have a process here that our donor partners invested a lot of money in. The reason why Ramsey was able to loot and bankrupt NOCAL was because NOCAL has so much freaking power. They did everything. They were referee, they were player, they were everything. Our donor partner said, no, let's change this around. Let's discontinue this process. They were involved. Some of you don't remember these things. Some of you don't even read. But this is what they did. Now we have a situation. It is the same thing that President Weah allowed his people to let him do at the LITI. LITI was established. Liberia signed up to the LITI, to the EITI chapter, to report what we collect from the extractive industry, mining, iron ore, diamond, all that. We said we will report what we collect. The LITI is structured in such a way that the secretariat is appointed by civil society. By the secretary is appointed by the president. Then it is a secretariat that appoints the chairperson. The president came to power. They broke the law. They broke the tradition. His advisors misled him. He went ahead and appointed Gabriel Yinka. LITI was very unhappy. International, the EITR. They were very unhappy about that. Very unhappy. It embarrassed the country. What did they do? They even suspended Liberia's membership because we failed to submit our report on time. These are things that embarrass the country. And you want some of us to keep quiet about it because we say we support the government? I am not a coward. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not a sycophant. Nobody feeds me. Nobody feeds me. Nobody. I survived under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. I can survive under George Weah. I can even survive without anything from Liberia. I want to let you know this. And those of you who if you want us to continue to work together, to support your agenda, to articulate your good platform, and you're doing some good things. You want me to continue to help in that regard. Don't keep embarrassing me. Because people curse me for your sake. And I said it, I'm not going to call you in private to tell you this. I'm not even going to call you. Do not embarrass me. Do not embarrass me. I do not work for the president. I'm not a political appointee. I hope I've made this point very clearly. If you do something again tomorrow, I will talk about it. I will talk about it. If it is good, I will. If it is bad, I will. I have a future in Liberian politics. Some of you have reached your peak, your zenith. You can't go beyond where you are. Some of us haven't. No. Some of us have not reached where we can reach, where we will reach, with God's help. So I'm not going to get burned because I support somebody. And at the same time, I'm not going to get bitter and attack this government to please some people. No, that's not going to happen. Let the politicians do the thing. Let them do the thing. I will not be involved with that. But if something happens that I don't like, I will speak to it. Not as a politician, but as a patriot. And I just wanted to make that very, very clear. Let nobody take me for granted. I have a platform that I built. For 8 years, I built this platform. I built my following. I can't be defending wrong. Or I can't be turning my eye away from wrong. When I see wrong, I'll be turning my eye away from it. No, I can't. I can't see wrong and turn my eye. Oh yeah, okay, let's forget that. No, let's forget that. No. And there's another thing I'm going to say here this morning. There's another thing I'm going to say. The president has submitted a bill seeking to terminate all tenured positions. Now, I hear some of you say the president is trying to be a dictator. Let's be fair here. Listen to yourselves. Is that how dictators operate? Do dictators submit bills to the legislature to change a law that they don't like? Is that not the process that is laid out in the Constitution? That if you want to change something, a law that you don't like, you can repeal the law, you can go to the legislature. Are you listening to yourselves? All of you who are running all over the place. That the president wants to be a dictator. Oh, so now dictators can go to the legislature and seek the legislature to exercise its powers to change an existing law. President Weah doesn't like the fact that people have tenures. He wants to change that. What does he do? He submits a bill to the legislature. And you say it is wrong to submit a bill? And that's the thing some of you want me to be talking about. When did it become wrong for the president to... When Donald Trump came to power, he didn't like Obamacare. He submitted a bill to the U.S. Congress. People like the late John McCain killed the bill. That is not dictatorial. That is not a dictatorial tendency. It is a democratic process. George Manuel Weah doesn't want people with tenures, people who have tenured positions, to continue to be in those positions. So what does he do? He submits a bill. Now, does he want more powers? Of course he wants more powers. But does he want the powers through the democratic process? Of course he does. Now, this is where I will criticize George Weah. If President Weah thinks that if the legislature scraps this law, now listen to me very keenly. Listen to me. If President Weah is planning that after the legislature scraps this law and all tenured positions are nullified, and that he can go now and remove people from their positions, President Weah would be wrong. Listen to me. Our laws are not retroactive. Our laws are not retroactive. If you submit a bill and you say you do not want, say, the Director General of NOCAL is a tenured position, the CEO and Chairman of and the Commissioner of Maritime is a tenured position. If this law is passed, this bill the president submitted, if it is passed and approved into law, the president cannot fire those people until their tenures are expired. Are you listening to me? Because the law is not retroactive. You cannot make a law now to take effect on something that was done before the law was made. That's what it means by retroactive. No. So if that's what he's planning, I will criticize him. And I want you all to think about it. All of you who are complaining, oh yeah, the man wants to be a dictator. The man submits a bill to the legislature. I want you to scrap this tenure law. I want all tenure positions to be nullified. Yes, he can do that. Only after the current terms of these individuals are expired. President Weah would have to wait until the Director General of NASCOP, until his tenure is up. Even after his law is passed. If President Weah gets the legislature to pass his law to cancel the tenure law, he cannot fire the people who are currently serving tenures. That is the point. If he does that, this is what they should do to him. They should take him to court, to the Supreme Court, to stop it. And then I will be on his back too. If the tenure law is passed and President Weah decides to fire the people who hold tenures, I will be on his back. And I hope his people are listening. If President Weah manages to get it, I'm pretty sure he's going to get them to do it because he wields tremendous influence in the legislature. But there is nothing undemocratic. There is nothing dictatorial about a sitting democratically elected president submitting a bill to change a law that he does not like. When did that become undemocratic? When did that become dictatorial? I mean, what kind of nonsense some of you can be talking so? And you know, Some of you want me to follow you in this level of stupidity. You want an intelligent man like me to join you and be shouting, oh yeah, the president wants to be a dictator. When did dictators go to court? Go to the legislature, rather. When did dictators start going to the legislature to change laws that they don't like? It is stupid. It is absolutely stupid for anybody to say that this bill submitted by the president is an act of dictatorial tendency. It is not. It is a democratic process. You don't like the law, you submit a bill to change the law. That's what George Weah did. But if President Weah, if this bill is passed, if he decides to remove those people who already are installed serving tenures, if he decides to kick them out, it will be undemocratic. And I just want people to know this. If the president thinks that once the law is changed, then he can fire all the people who hold tenure positions, the president would be terribly mistaken and would be acting illegally. You see my point? That is my point. But for you to say that it is wrong, you are wrong. You are mistaken. There is nothing wrong with doing that. I just wanted to point that out. So George Manuel Weah has within his authority as president of the state to submit a bill to change any law that he does not like. But at the same time, if he decides to remove people from those positions, it will be wrong. It will be terribly wrong. You cannot remove people from tenure positions. You cannot. And it's against the law. You can negotiate with the person, pay off all the benefits, all the salaries for the remainder of their tenure, but you cannot fire them. They do not work at the will and pleasure of the president unless the law is changed. And to submit a bill is not an act of dictatorial. And I see some of you say you're so educated and you're on Facebook making that stupid noise. This is where some of you and I don't agree. You want to criticize this president, find legitimate issues to criticize him on. You should be criticizing him about undermining the process of completing the divestiture of key regulatory functions from NOCAL to the LPRA. This NOCAL thing was a problem. I hear many of you don't even care about that. You don't even care. Safwan May-Gray wants to continue to exercise full powers at NOCAL, which is not supposed to be that way. But instead, you're talking about the president submits a bill, and then you are all saying now that the president wants to be a dictator. That is not how a dictator operates. A dictator does not submit bills to change laws. They don't. You understand me? Dictators don't. They just go ahead and they say the law is changed. From today on, I'm firing all these people. No. You see, that is not the way it's done. Now, I told you that petroleum importers and the government were locked in a negotiation. I did tell you that. And they have come to a deal. I just thought I should point that out. There is no shortage of petroleum products on the market. No shortage whatsoever. I've been saying this over and over again. Some of you never get the facts. You just jump up and start talking. There has been no shortage. What the importers did, if I were an importer, I would have done the same thing myself. The government for 5 months had been artificially suppressing the price of petroleum products. Artificially. For 5 months. They've been suppressing the price of petroleum products. Even though within that period, the price of petroleum products has gone up on the world market. But our government decided we will suppress the petroleum thing because we don't want it to go up and to affect the Liberian people. And it's been hurting the importers because when the price of petroleum goes up on the world market, the importers have to increase the price so they can be able to make a decent markup to remain viable and profitable. For 5 months. In other words, for 5 months, the LPRC and the Ministry of Commerce, the two entities of government responsible to regulate petroleum price and stuff, they've been suppressing it. But they could do it only so long. They could not continue to suppress the importers. So what happened is that there is enough petroleum products, enough gas and enough fuel in the tanks at LPRC. But the importers decided they will go slow. They will not sell. They can strike too. Because they said, we don't want to sell at a loss. We do not want to sell at a loss. And I would have done the same thing if I were an importer and the government has been suppressing the price. And to be honest, why has the government been doing this? In the interest of the people. But it has been hurting the people too. Because the petroleum people, the petroleum importers decided we will not sell. And when they don't sell, of course, and the government cannot compel them to sell. The government cannot compel you to open your business. No, they can't. Because they were doing this as a negotiating tool or negotiating tactic. And it worked. And I kept telling you, there is no shortage on the market. So yesterday, the government, the LPRC, and the Ministry of Commerce finalized the negotiations with the petroleum importers, as I said to you. And these are the new prices that I'm about to give you, which became effective yesterday. As of yesterday, these new prices became effective. Now let me go and tell you what the new prices are for petroleum products. Petroleum products price circular. October 30th, yesterday. The wholesale price, they have the wholesale price here. The wholesale price for gasoline is $3.52. The wholesale price of fuel oil is $3.81. The retail price for gasoline, listen to this, this is the one that's important to you. Because most of us don't buy wholesale. The retail price for gasoline is $3.70. Or the equivalent in LD is 580 Liberian dollars. It used to be $540. Now they've added 40 Liberian dollars, which is very reasonable. The importers are asking for a higher price, really, but the government beat them down. Thanks to the tough and the great negotiating skills of the team at LPRC and, of course, the Ministry of Commerce. The retail price of fuel oil is $3.95. And the equivalent in Liberian dollars is 615 Liberian dollars. Now, let me give you prices in the region. What are the prices in the region? The prices in Sierra Leone, in Ghana, in Ivory Coast, in Guinea. And you can go and find it. GlobalPetrolPrices.com. Log on. All of you who would say I'm lying, but log on. GlobalPetrolPrices.com. You will see all this information there. So the price of petroleum in Liberia, of course, is being adjusted. For fuel and gas, fuel oil is $3.95. For gasoline, it's $3.70. The price of gasoline in Guinea is $4.15. So what is the price difference between Guinea and Liberia? Liberia is $3.70. Guinea is $4.15. So the difference here, Fidel, is what? 45 cents. So Guineans are buying gas for 45 cents more than Liberians. 45 cents more in Guinea. Sierra Leone is $3.61. So Sierra Leone is actually 9 cents cheaper than Liberia. Sierra Leone is 9 cents cheaper than Liberia. The Ivory Coast, they are buying gas in the Ivory Coast for $4.03. So the Ivory Coast is 33 cents more expensive than Liberia. Ivory Coast pays 33 cents more for gasoline than Liberia. Ghana, that we often make references to. In Ghana, a gallon of gasoline is $4.12 in Ghana. $4.12 for a gallon of gasoline. In Liberia, the price of a gallon of gasoline, as has been adjusted, is $3.70. So, fellow Liberians, this is the issue. We're not talking about their local currencies, we're talking about the USD, the rate. We're talking in the same currency. So nobody can say, oh, but the value of the Ghana CD is different. No. We are talking, all these prices are quoted in the same currency. The universal currency of the world, USD. So Liberia has the second cheapest petroleum in West Africa, in the West Africa, in this sub-region. We buy gas cheaper than the people in Ghana, than the people in the Ivory Coast, than the people in Guinea. The only country that has gasoline, that sells gasoline and fuel oil cheaper than us is Sierra Leone, which is 9 cents cheaper. But we are 45 cents cheaper than Guinea. We are 32 cents or 33 cents cheaper than the Ivory Coast. And these are the facts. Yeah. Whether they use liters or not, my brother, the price per gallon, you know how many liters make one gallon? Why you want to again? Someone like an island, you ain't go to school. Liter and gallon. How many liters get you one gallon? So this is what we are talking about, folks. If you go to the pump to buy gas and you pay in US dollar or the equivalent, you are paying for a gallon of gas is $3.70, according to the circular put out yesterday. Thank you, Hassan Fadiga. 4 liters gave you 1 gallon. 4 liters. So when somebody say, oh, but the people who think different because they buy in liter. You see the stupidness, you not go to school. When you do 4 liters, you add it and not one gallon. Let's go to the lines and take some calls there. So this is what the government has done. They've negotiated with the petroleum importers and they have adjusted the price in a way that's fair. Let me be honest with you. Because the importers were asking for more. And the importers are business people. They have the right to ask for more. But the government beat them down. And I want to say thanks to the LPRC and to the Ministry of Commerce. Minister Professor Wilson Tape and Ms. Nimade Pearson, MD of LPRC. You have to give credit to whom credit is due. Let's go to the phone lines and take some calls there. Gasoline now is $3.70 or $5.80 in Liberian dollars, and fuel oil is $3.95 or $6.15 in Liberian dollars. Those are the new prices for petroleum products on the market, fuel and gas. Let's take some calls. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, P.L. And good morning, Heron Petrol Costa. My name is Aman Costa, and I joined the conversation from my New York resident. You know, Mr. President, I'm speaking directly to our president this morning. NOCA has a very bad history, more especially under the regime of Manasseh. We know how Baba Serif ran NOCA. At the end of the day, NOCA got them robbed. Manasseh took responsibility. So we don't want to waste the scene again. The same reasons why NOCA went being robbed, we don't want to see it happening within this regime. If it's happened, Mr. President, for some of us, it will be an unfortunate situation and we express our disappointment. But Costa, the bill that have been submitted by the president, to some extent, for me, I have a little bit problem with it. Costa, there are some positions in this government that need, the laws protection. There are some people who are supposed to work independently. For instance, anti-graft distribution. Those people, when they want to conduct an audit, they need to be independent. Because if they take up with somebody within this government that been appointed by the president and the president has interest, they will be worried as to whether they will be maintained or fired. But when they have any position, they can function independently without any worry that indeed they will be fired. So for me, I have this very serious problem with that steering position. We want that law to be maintained. We want that law
Well, that is the view. The president has the right, he has the power to submit bills to try to change laws that he doesn't like. But you as a citizen, you have your view as well. And his authority, he's exercising. And I just want to point this out. If he passes this law, if he manages to get this law passed, which would not surprise me, he would not be in a position to retroactive or to take, it would not take retroactive effect. It will not have effect on the people who currently occupy tenured positions. Their tenure would have to expire before they are removed, and the president may go ahead and appoint new people. But to say that this president is being dictatorial for submitting a bill to change a law that he doesn't like, of course, that's ridiculous. Do I agree with some of the positions that are tenured positions? No, I don't. Some of these positions should not be tenured positions. They should not be. But the law is the law. It's a bad law in some cases with some of the entities that have heads that hold tenures. But when the law is the law has to be changed. And that's what the president is doing. A Democrat or a Democratic president would try to change the law through the democratic process, which is to submit a bill to the legislature where the law was made in the first place. But a dictator would say, no, I'm suddenly going ahead and ignoring this law and firing these people. And this is not what the president is doing. And that is why I'm telling all of you who are criticizing him for this, if you disagree with him, all you should say, Mr. President, please leave it as is. But don't say he's been a dictator, because that is not the case. Dictators don't try to change laws through the normal process. They enforce their will upon the people. That is the way dictators operate. Go read history. Let's go back to the phone lines.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Ronald Fala calling from Sinko. Yeah, I do agree with Henry Costa when it comes to comparing the gasoline prices with various countries in the sub-region, which was excellently right. But I think you see, like Brian said, they do fall, especially when it comes to the standard of living. They are almost of the same compared to that of Africa, Ghana, and maybe Guinea. But then what I think...
No, but Chief, listen. What does the price have to do with standard of living?
That thing when it comes to the transportation, the regulation, we don't really have transport union to really regulate the prices. If only it's been regulated by the government, I think it would be good for us. That is the problem I have. That's my regulation.
Thank you very much. And I just want to say this to you. What does the cost of living have to do with global market forces that determine prices fluctuating, prices going up and coming down? When OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exploiting Countries, OPEC, when OPEC produces more product, more petrol, more crude oil, the price falls. When they cut back on production, the price goes up. Simple economics, supply and demand. So when they want to increase the price of petroleum products, of crude oil, they simply produce less. When they want the price to fall, they produce more. That's why a few countries are not members of OPEC, because OPEC tells their members how many million gallons to produce per day. And of course, America is currently the largest oil producing country in the world. I'm sure many of you didn't know that. Saudi Arabia is number 2. The last time I checked, America produces about 17 million barrels of crude oil a day. America is the world's largest producer of oil, not Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is number 2. I believe Russia is number 3. Let's go back to the phone lines and take more calls there. So when oil prices go up, crude oil, when the price goes up on the world market, it is because production has been cut, has been reduced. That's what triggers the upward adjustment in the price. And whenever the price goes up on the world market, what happens in countries that use petroleum, even countries that produce them? America is the world's largest producer of petroleum products. But guess what? The price in America has been going up as well. The price is going up. Let me tell you the current pump price of petroleum in the state of Delaware. Go back to the phone lines with them. I will tell you that shortly. Let me just check it out.
Good morning, how are you?
Yep, I don't know, your phone is very low. You were low?
Good morning, how are you?
Yep, good morning.
This is Alhaji Mbonda.
Mm-hmm.
Good
morning, Fidel and Herring.
Good morning to you.
I give thanks and appreciation, and I also advise the caller to understand, to do the research, and to come up and say something. It costs it, and it takes time. When you come out to react or to revoke, you should know what is understanding. What time that person has taken to do that research, what time that man has taken to bring the facts to you. You should also understand to your mind that what he is saying, what will you say back will be understood to other people. We talk about petroleum in the sub-region. It's talk about natural harbor. So I don't have the natural harbor. What can kill more in many, many ships. So this is what, when they are talking, understand how your country look, how the environment look. And secondly, when they talk about the changing position, look because that's what a president is. I agree with Costa. Look at, he can deal with our people in the legislature to say, yes, we agree with what he says. We don't agree with what he says. This is the fight. Understanding of problems and analyzing and understand very well when somebody is speaking. Do not just say, oh, let me do this. And also, I like him. When the time is come and say, oh, this, I will bring a problem. I will make people to know that the government has never bored me and I speak the fight. So thank you to advocate for Liberians. Thank you to give us the fascinating story. I speak very much. And I hope to hear from you and be there. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the phone lines and take more calls there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, good morning.
Yes, James calling from Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my concern has to do with the petroleum price. I have constantly narrative with largest position of oil.
Yeah, the last time I checked, I need to go and check that, recheck that information.
What can be the profit price of the petroleum product on the market?
Are you asking me why can't America reduce the price?
Yes.
But what kind of question are you asking me so? You think America alone can determine the price of oil? You know, I'm not big. Let's take another caller. Talking. Some of the questions y'all can ask people say, why can't America reduce the price for you in Liberia? Can you imagine that? America might come to Liberia to reduce the price for you. Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
Good morning, and good morning to you, Professor Costa or Leo. My name is Spencer Peter, and I join you from the Savannah, the Legend for the District of 15. Now, Professor, let me say thank you very much for the high level of peace you are just saying to your country and your love for this nation, and also to you, Manager Fidel, for the work that I'm doing. You know, I know first day one President, we are saying nobody was earning more than 7,000 that lady earned 12. And we are hoping that it's not she made some around that you are experiencing in Liberia. She decides who stays in government or who leaves government. It is wrong. And for the president calling for the termination of any position, I see that as a step backward to our democratic in Liberia. Already the constitution of Liberia gave the president more than 25% power. So what more does the president need? If we need people that will checkmate other people, we need all that kind of program people were saying. Everybody in Africa, everybody are proud of the president. So if you are saying that there is no standing position, they mean that there will be no check and balance, correction, either all of the people be a fair or whatsoever thing because they want to pick the president. They have to be careful how we change things in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now you see, you have a point. Your point is, there should be tenured positions. That's your view. The president says, well, he doesn't want tenured positions. That's his position.
Hello?
Yes. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Welcome to the studio show.
Yeah, I'm calling from. I'm calling from Chapter Baba.
Let's hear you.
Yes. Yes, that's the issue with changing position is bill submitted by the president. I think that is constitutional, you know what I'm saying? If you read Article 50, 51, and to be specific, 54, it gives the power to the president to appoint, you understand? And there is no statute that is greater than the Constitution. So I think the president should be given that power to appoint and not be usurped democracy, and my rely is the Constitution.
All right. Thank you for your view. That's it. That's democracy. People will agree and disagree, but it is not dictatorial for the president to try to change the law through the legislature. I just want to point that out. You can give your view. Now, what's my view? My view is certain positions should be tenured. Certain positions in government should be tenured. Certain critical positions. But not all positions, not just an ordinary position. A position where, an entity where we need the heads to be independent of the executive to freely operate. But even those who have tenures, how independent are they? That's the point. The whole idea of having a tenure position is to ensure that people have independence. But most of the people in Liberia are spineless. They are afraid of the president. They are spineless people. So you have a tenure and you still are afraid of the president. Lawmakers who were elected by their people, who have tenure, because when you're elected by your people, it's a form of a tenure. A 6-year tenure for a representative and a 9-year tenure for a senator. Still, some of those lawmakers behave as though they live with the president. So having tenures makes no difference really, because people would still bow down to the president. I'm telling you something serious. Most Liberians have no spine. They have no spine. That is how we create dictators. When everybody in the country says hallelujah to the president, the emperor is naked, but we say the emperor has brand new clothes. That is how we create monsters. So for you to say, tenure will give people independence, it will make them firm to do their job. What's that? Tenure? People have tenures in Liberia, and yet the president can dictate to them. What are you talking about? The president appointed the governor of the central bank. What were his comments, Fidel, when he was being inducted into office?
Well, he will listen to the president.
Thank you.
He will foster the agenda of the president.
Thank you. This man is supposed to have a tenure. That is one critical position that must have a tenure. The governor of the central bank. The joker is being installed, and what does it say? I am here to execute the mandate of the president. Can you imagine that? He is supposed to have a 5-year tenure to be independent, free of political influencing and manipulation, to do his job as a professional. And he's telling you, say, I'm here to please the president. Then you say, tenure will help the democracy. You lie. Tenure will not help the democracy. You know what will help our democracy? For men to have spine. For men and women in the country to grow spine and stand up to George Manuel Weah and say, Mr. President, with all due respect, you are wrong. Yesterday, I read on CNN online, the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, a Republican, criticizing Donald Trump for proposing to end citizenship by birth. In Liberia, I dare you to show one seditious lawmaker or seditious government official who will criticize the president. I dare you. I dare you. People don't have spine in the country. People don't have spine. Then you want to talk about, let's create a tenure. My man, Kendrick, Billy and picking. You know what I'm saying is true. Tenure or no tenure, they have no spine. They will all bow down to the president and do what the president wants. So I beg you, man, y'all leave all with the tenure business. My point I just wanted to say is that the president has the power to try to change the law through the legislature. There is nothing wrong with that. He is not being a dictator. Why I criticize him about the way he's conducting this transition at NOCAL. At the same time, I must be fair. That's what I told you. I will be fair. If the president does good, I will say it. If the government does good, I will say it. If they do wrong, I will also say it. There is nothing wrong with trying to change the law through the legislature. But at the same time, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? Many people have tenures, they still bow down to the president. Many people. In America, Janet Yellen. Janet Yellen is the chairman of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is independent of the U.S. government. The other day, President Trump was criticizing Janet Yellen because the Feds have been reducing I think increasing interest rates. Yes, interest rates at which banks can lend money to business people and to lend to each other. So Trump was criticizing her, and the president can criticize the chairman of the Federal Reserve because he cannot call and say, "Look, Janet, I want you to do this." No, that cannot happen. Janet Yellen took over from Ben Bernanke. Ben Bernanke, I believe he took over from Alan Greenspan. So that's the way the feds operate. The boss of the FBI boss in America, the head of the FBI, he's independent. He basically serves a 10U. He's independent. He does not report. The FBI can do their own investigations. They report directly to the State Department. The State Department, the Attorney General of the United States, is independent. The president does not dictate to him. Yes, the president appoints him. He doesn't quite have a 10U, but the president cannot dictate to the Attorney General in America. That's the way it works. President Trump has openly criticized the U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions. He said he didn't like the idea that Jeff Sessions decided to recuse himself from the Russia probe. He's criticized the man on numerous occasions, even though he has not come around to firing him. But what I'm trying to say to you, democracy works that way when people have tenure, when they're protected to do their job, and they have spine. You can give a Liberian man tenure for 100 years, he will never have spine. Liberians are spineless people. So leave me with your damn tenure business. Tenure. Oh yeah, we want tenure so that democracy can work. Tenure. You put the punks in those positions, and they will still bow down to the president. It doesn't matter who is the president. They will still bow down to the president because they want favors. So tenure or no tenure, it does not help our democracy. What Liberians need to do is to grow spine. To grow spine and respect for themselves. To look at the president and say, "Mr. President, you are wrong." So you have to go with the tenure, been here. Tenure. The tenure will help. Tenure will not help at all. Grow spine. Let's go back to the lines and take some calls then. Grow spine. That's what you need, not tenures. Good morning.
Good morning, Peter. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Peter.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Charles Roberts, and I'm in Monrovia. And Peter, I don't have good morning to my brother Henry. And let me ask Henry a few questions. Henry, have you given on the period? Now, let me, when I get the line, I know you will answer. If you are given on the period, that's where you want to change, and you are not given the change yet. If you set the wrong foundation today, when you come there, the change will get difficult for you. Fine. Liberia are harmless, as you are saying for now. But tomorrow you will be one of those internal positions who want to be very independent, who are fine, and want to be independent. But because the foundation is wrong today, and that president who you'll be serving under be a president who is not tolerant to your independence, dismisses you or dismiss you because of your posture to do the right thing. So I think, as a thought leader president, we don't go on law because of the on the surface. We look at the law intent. The intent of the law is what we are investigating right now. So, but nobody is going to say the president want to be dictator. Because when you look at the intent, the spirit of the law, what the intent of the president, if you want to undo any position, for example, the one the election, and you have one election commission who is doing the right thing, and the penalty after the power because there's the president. No, mind you that the president is in power on the election, on the put that up. So the president has changed the election commissioner against the election. So you will say, because Liberia are final today, that should happen.
But Charles,
and I guess you cannot listen to Costa.
Charles?
Yeah?
Jerome Corquia had a 10U. Did that bugger look like he was exercising independence? Answer my question, Charlie.
I don't want to call me. I call Jerome Corquia. I want to who will be very independent. You think nobody will be born in a country that will be very independent, who not here as well a lot of job, but now they are doing a piece of job and they will do it to the best of their ability. You think that person will not be born, and that's why you are coming now
There have been few people, Charles. People like Telon Gonglo.
Few people could be one. You could be one of them.
No, I will not be one of them. I will never work for any president. No. I don't see myself ever working for any president. Charlie, let me just, you ask a question. Whether tomorrow I will be in the government or somebody. I, Henry Pedro Costa, I prefer selling cold water and plastic bag to being in the government under a president who is not progressive. The only kind of leader I would serve under, it would have to be a Thomas Sankara type of leader, or say the type of leader, say, what's his name? The current president of the bulldozer of Tanzania, or the current prime minister of Ethiopia. That's the only kind of president I would serve under. Other than that, I would never serve under no president would give me a job and some kind of Joe Blow be sitting out there doing the same old thing, running the country, because they would fire me in no time. So I'd rather sell plastic bag, Charlie, than serving in a government position where we don't have a progressive leader that is ready for real change. So Charlie, I'm sorry, I can't. So just do that one. I know it was a hypothetical thing you were saying, but I just want to let you know that Henry Costa will say charcoal, than to work in the government to just take pay. That all go to where you take pay. I want to be a part of a real critical change, a real radical progressive movement where we take bad people and we disgrace them, we put them in jail, confiscate their properties. That's the kind of government I want to see. Where we prosecute former president and don't say, oh, they are too old, let's leave them alone. No. I will never ever, I swear to my dear mother, Sarah Burton, I cannot be part of such an arrangement. The only branch in any government I can serve in is the legislature, where the president cannot fire me. But to be a minister or deputy minister, no way, never. I will sell coal. But I will not do that. It's just me. I don't hate people who serve in government. I believe there are actually good people who are working in this government. Tons of good people doing good things in this government. But it's just a difference between me. It's just a personal difference. I cannot serve in any government that is not radically progressive. Radically progressive. A radical government. Number one, we set up a special anti-corruption court. We put a panel of judges, appoint a man like Tiamon Gonglo as a chief judge. When you steal government, by the time you are accused of stealing government money, NSCC rushes to do an investigation. They finish, while they're investigating you, you will step down from your position, going through the investigation. When the investigation is concluded, we'll forward you to the court. Special corruption court. No jurors. It's a panel. It's like a tribunal. We put decent men and women of integrity on that job, on that particular bench. We'll find you guilty. We'll put you in jail. We'll take your properties from you. We'll sell your properties and recover the money you stole. Where government officials are dismissed for being reckless and not going to work on time, for using government cars and government vehicles, government assets recklessly. That is the kind of radical government I will serve under. Other than that, forget it. I will serve cold water. Let's go to the phone lines.
Good morning.
Cold water. That's what I will say.
Good morning.
Good morning, please.
Yeah, but good morning and good morning, Daddy Heron. I'm Sheikh Ejabata calling for Jeffrey Bolivar. And I want to say this morning that we, the Liberians, we don't speak to the issue. Daddy Heron, Costa, you have touched a lot of issue this morning, but what is more concerned to us this morning is the dismissal of the brother that you just called. Somebody can say something that, I will do it, or I will make the president do it, then the president do it. Then it means that you got Liberia. And this is how we see in Liberia. This is how we do our thing in Liberia. Liberia is not for one person. You can even do a president. It is the Liberians that elected you. It is the Liberians that voted you to that position. You didn't just get there by your power or your own. You get there through the will of the people. So when you go there, you should do the will of the people. You know what I'm saying? Let me take this time this morning to criticize that on the part of our president. It's not fair. Let us be we are listening, Daddy. Thank you very so much.
Thank you. And let me tell you this, you need to know too. This bill the president submitted, which I believe is a Democratic bill, there are many people, lawmakers that support it, and there are many lawmakers that are against it. Have you heard the noise that was there yesterday, Fidel, at the Capitol building? A lot of lawmakers were making noise about the bill. But again, how many of them would really stand for it? How many of them? They will make some noise, but it is a whole process. That's the process. It's a democratic process. The president submits a bill, and the president has his team to work to lobby to pass the bill. That is the democracy that we fought for. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So I just wanted to point that out. Yeah, so for you to say, oh, you vest with the government, your president submits a bill, the president submits a bill that bad thing. The president submits a bill is a good thing for our democracy. You didn't want degree 88, why did you call it during those times? Degree 88? No. It's a democratic process. Let's go back to the lines, Fidel.
Good morning. Good morning. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir. You live.
Good morning, Fidel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm Emmanuel. Yes, Fidel, this morning, the first thing I want to say is I'm asking all conscious-minded, like you, especially our lawmakers, not to pass that bill, Fidel. The first thing is, Fidel, let's look at the central bank governor. If that bill is passed, where George will have to wake up one morning on his left side and tell the central bank governor that I won $1 million. If he refuses, what happens next? He loses his job. LIA. So there are a lot of key agents in this country that if you do not have a tenure position, you will serve at the pleasure of the president, and he terminates it at will.
I agree with you. Emmanuel?
Position should be tenure position.
Emmanuel?
It's very, very, we have to look at it in the right direction.
Emmanuel?
Not today or just we are administration.
Emmanuel?
Next government or president will come, it will have serious negative impact on our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Emmanuel makes a good point. Emmanuel's point is kind of similar to my dear friend Charles Roberts. And their point is simple. We want a situation where the president does not dictate to the people in positions, especially certain critical positions. The governor of the central bank should be completely independent of the president, of the executive. Yes. But at the same time, in America, for example, Fidel, we're having elections here in America. The treasurer of the state is being elected. The treasurer of the state. The attorney general is being elected. People are running for position of attorney general of the state of Delaware and almost every state in America. Fidel. The justice minister is being elected. The state treasurer or the minister of finance of the state is being elected. The commissioners are being elected. I'm telling you, the people elect everybody. You know why they elect them, Fidel? Independence. Judges in many states in America are elected. In many states in America, judges are elected. Not federal judges or so, but state judges, local judges, they are elected. And when they elect those people, now I've done a paper in my political science 200 state and local government class course. I did a paper on the benefits of appointing and electing judges. I did a paper on that. When judges are appointed, the chances that those judges would be independent because they answer to the people. Some judges are elected, they are independent. Some judges are appointed, they are also independent. But the issue is having spine, Fidel. Even if you have a tenure, if you do not have spine, if you do not have integrity, there is nothing you are going to do. So I just want to point this out. This bill, I am not against this bill. What I would be against is if the president tries to remove these people who have their tenures. If the president doesn't want John Brown to be having a tenure position, let him wait until John Brown's tenure is up after the law is changed. That's my point. And let me tell you something, Fidel. People who have tenures, even after the bill is passed into law and the positions are scrapped or cancelled, some of those people will know that they have been wronged, but they will never go to court to sue the government. You know why they will not sue? No spine. No spine. Government does it wrong, you won't sue because you scare the government. So, but there is nothing wrong with the president doing this. Do you know Ellen Johnson said he was trying to make the director of the Liberian National Police a tenured position? You can remember, Fidel?
Yeah.
She wanted to make the police director a tenured position. Now, some people say it's good. That means the police director would answer. But in Liberia, you have the police director as a tenured position where he answers basically to no one. I mean, on his daily operations. He is the head of the police. He has 4,000, 6,000 plus men and women, many of whom carry arms, deployed right across the country in a messed up democracy. The police director is a tenured position. The president cannot fire him at will. There's a procedure before he's removed. That sounds like a scary thing. At the same time, even if the police director has a tenure, and the president is the president, and the police director calls and says, "My man, I know you get tenure, but I want you to do this one." Oh, you know what the police director wants? More than likely, a Liberian police director wants to be in good books with the president. That's the way it works. A Liberian police director wants to be in good books with the president. So he knows he has a tenure. He should be independent of the executive. Should not be at the beck and call and dancing to the whims and caprices of the president. But here is the thing. He doesn't care. He wants to be in the president's good graces. So tenure is a good thing. The idea in theory, tenure is a good thing. But in practice, tenure has not been very effective in Liberia. So this is a healthy democratic debate. I encourage it. People are concerned to have this debate. Look at LRA. And Frida Tama had a tenure. Look at the way she used to behave there. Ruthless and lawless. Broke the law on many occasions. Let's go to the lines and take some more calls. We'll take a guest on the line after our commercial break.
Good morning. Good morning.
Members of the Economic Freedom Fighter of Liberia.
Let's hear you, Economic Freedom Fighter people.
The bill actually states that all tenure positions under the executive, that it is so. Then for me personally, I will recommend that our bill be sent back to the president for reading. You cannot say, "Oh, women, we have to integrate institutions that have to be void of the executive."
But what independence do they have? What independence do those integrity institutions have? The GAC, the LACC.
Like the GAC, like the anti-corruption. These are institutions that the president now needs to dictate to, right?
Yeah, but the way it is in Liberia, the president dictates to them. Maybe not this president, but the past president used to tell GAC and LACC, "Don't do this." I have a letter in my possession that Rob Salif wrote to the GAC telling them to delay an audit of NOCAL. I have that letter. Rob Salif.
I don't have a minute on the line. Let me learn my thoughts.
Go ahead, make your point.
The luxuries of time you carry on. And this is it. They're even looking at legislature. Those that are support, those legislators that are support the view of the ruling party, they are considered to be marginalized. We are seeing it.
Marginalized how?
Seeing it. So how much more if positions are supposed to be of integrity? People mind that don't have any position and we are the representative of the executive. You know what's going to happen?
Okay, my brother, thank you.
There's going to be no more integrity in the country.
Okay, and you got integrity now?
Those institutions have been compromised.
Yeah, but now they are working. No institution are working. You hear a man telling me, if you change it, there will be no more integrity. You get integrity in Liberia?
People that say no integrity in the country, then what are you talking?
Yeah, what you coming to talk about? If you give people 10 you, then the people there will be, you can't control them. Look, let me tell you something. Rob Salif wrote a letter to the GAC when when KB, what I mean, man, I mean who a GAC boss?
KB.
Yeah. I have the letter. I just need to find it. Rob Shelley wrote the GAC and told GAC to delay an audit of NOCAL. And you say 10 new position important. KB went ahead and listened and heeded to Rob Shelley's instruction. The president's son, chairman of the board of NOCAL, writing the GAC that was in the process of conducting a forensic audit of NOCAL, asking them, do not come just yet. We are not ready for you. I ask you to delay the process. Then you say, Robert KB, thank you. That was the man name, Robert KB. Robert KB had a 10U, but he answered, he heeded to Rob Shelley's request. What authority did Rob Shelley have to ask to instruct the GAC Auditor General to delay an audit of NOCAL? And then he said 10U position. Liberians need to grow spine. That's what you need to grow. You need to stop being greedy. When you go to power and you love power so much, you're looking for money, anything the president tells you to do, you will do it. In America, the people resign from government just because they don't agree with the president on policy issues. They resign. All the time, they resign. That's what they do in America. They don't stay in power and dance to the president's tune and be licking the president's feet. But in Liberia, you will do anything for a damn government job. So, the president submitting the bill is his president's right. But if the president thinks that after the bill is passed into law, automatically all 10 new positions are going to be nullified, he's going to ask James Colley of Maritime to step down. He's going to ask Dewitt Von Bommels of NASCOP to step down. He's going to ask the LACC boss of Verdia, that one I can't even stand, to step down. Trust me, that would be wrong. It would be wrong. It would be against the law. It would be illegal. Because the law, when changed, does not have a retroactive effect. It takes effect from the date and time it is passed. When it is approved by the President of the Republic of Liberia, printed into handbill and published in the official gazette, then it takes effect. That is the process of lawmaking, my dear people. Let's take 2 more calls. We'll take our break and come back.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, you're right, bro.
Mama, you want to take off here? Good morning.
Good morning, my hero, and Costa.
I
said, good morning to the good people of the people of Liberia, and good morning to the good family of the UFN. For the organization, my name is Poka Driver, calling for Capital Driver.
Let's hear you, Poka.
As I heard this morning of Petro, I'm very disappointed. 100%. And actually, will not be as consistent that the competition, the possible competition I made to the prosperity of the government will not be silent and will not be a secret. Will consistent because the action, the reaction of the power administration, the first action of this that set people will not reference and then they will all or estimate for people in the reason that we will regret that and we let the party ticket and power interest into the conversation of the United States. And today, the conversation of the United States are being successful and they are doing or even forming the same attitude of the power administration in the national interest. Mr. President, you as a constituent you went to the power, you went to the presidency to the acquiescence of the Liberian people. You now want that to acquiesce on individuals. There is nobody that the country has when all of you. There is nobody that has monopoly all the countries with the all of you. Mr. President, we want the 100% patriotic intervention, patriotic authoritative movement. You don't want to protect the movement for you.
Thank you.
You want to say things that actually you don't follow the factor and then you go and take negative action. Mr. President, what I want the money for you is not patrioticness. You get a patrioticness that I even impress you when the president of president go out there, search for people in broken you kill it and say they're not coming, I want to run. And you want to say a patriotic thing on the vision. And that's why we protect this president. And that's why we always care about you and we always be with you. Because we know
Okay, Mr. President, when I get the money, I'm very, very discouraged. I'm very, very disappointed.
All right, Poga. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Poga.
Thank you very much, Poga. Okay. We'll take one more call and take our break. Hey, Poga.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hello? Okay, this person is not ready. Let's take Samuel McGill. Good morning.
Morning, Fidel.
Mm.
Good morning, Fidel.
Good morning.
Morning, Costa.
Good morning, Brother McGill.
I want to speak directly to the president this morning. I'm one of the persons that joined other patriotic Nigerians that will protested many times when our Salif were in charge of locale. The wrongdoings that occurred there. Mr. President, that institution went down to the ground because of the evil nature of the leadership that was there. I'm appealing to you, do not walk in the path of Madam Salif. Please, Mr. President, we are defending you even to our intellectual death. We are supporting you because we know you have a good heart and a good intention to move this country forward.
Oh, that one there, I cannot question it. He has good intentions.
That will embarrass all of us. Please, do not put somebody at the head of that institution that will be the next prime minister of our country. We are begging you to reconsider your decision concerning Mr. Edward Smith. He has not been clear what he did. We want you to govern this state rightly, and we all will be proud of you because we want you to be the greatest president ever in our country. You have an ear, you can listen, and we know that you think about this and take the appropriate decision. Thank you so much, Mr. President, and also thank you for the bill that you presented. The bill came as a creation of those who wanted to remain at the donor position and created standing on their own. So you have gone through the democratic process to present a bill. This is that dictatorship. Thank you so much, Eric Costa, for highlighting this very important issue on your show. God bless you.
Okay. Thank you. Let's take our break for them. We will be right back, folks. Stay put.
The Liberia Chess Federation will host the National Chess Championship Tournament this November 16th to the 24th in Monrovia with big cash prizes, titles, ratings, and rankings to win. And the Giants are out for the catch. Like reigning champ FM Bacon Harmon, FM Jacob Jalla, and other top-rated chess players like John Jalla, Anthony Williams, and GM killer Joel Eberita, who will reign supreme. With cash prizes of $750, $500, and $250 in the men's category, and $500, $250, and $150 in the women's category. It could be a clash of the titans. Registration for the tournament is now on for just $25 and ends on November the 10th. So rush now and buy your space. There will also be cash prizes for young and upcoming chess players. For more information, call 0886-549-479 or 0-777-969-860. It's the Liberia National Chess Championship Tournament from November the 16th to the 24th in Monrovia City. Excuse me, I'm checkmate. Don't miss it. Slide up.
Princess, that's what your money I promised to give you.
Thank you, Mama, but please give it on this Sunday.
Monica fee. The mommy give your money until Sunday? Why?
Because it's Orange Lucky Sunday. I want to wear a 4G smartphone. I want to use it for all my homework from school.
Very good, child. And also to chat with friends on WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat. Hey, look out there.
But Mama, you know, man, I gotta be on it.
This and every Sunday is Orange Lucky Sunday. This Sunday, recharge $1 or more between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. and you stand a chance to win a 4G smartphone. Orange Lucky Sunday.
It's all about what matters to you. Orange.
What? Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 million. My people, you come for me.
Yes, now, with Orange Second Christmas, we inside. Recharge $1 or above to win big every day. Win a shopping cart race every week. Win $1 million Liberian dollars. And if you recharge every week till Christmas, you stand a chance to win $5 million Liberian dollars. Use any service of Orange Money to double your prizes.
It's all about what matters to you. Orange.
Masako, in collabo with GM Bank Liberia Limited, has a new and unlimited LPA giveaway package for you. Now, think twice and take a chance. For the first time in 28 years, Masako now has a special LPA package for everyone. You can now take delivery of your TVS King Deluxe Tricycle, HLX ES 100cc, commonly called White Exhaust, HLX ES 125cc, commonly called Black Exhaust, the KS 100cc, and all the accessories. To be qualified for Masako Unlimited LPA giveaway package, your salary must be with GM Bank Liberia Limited. Isn't that a giveaway to take away? For more information, please visit any GM Bank Liberia Limited. Masako, 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 always ending my struggle.
Masako, Masako, Masako.
Looking for a reliable, effective, and efficient company to handle your clearing, forwarding, and logistics needs? The place to turn is Global Clearing and Forwarding Firm. Global Clearing and Forwarding Firm, with over 7 years of existence, has a crop of experienced, customer-focused, and industrious professionals, led by its General Manager Bill Bemba Passawood II, who is always available to provide the services you need. Global Clearing and Forwarding Firm specializes in clearing, forwarding, transporting, warehousing, and logistics management, and has the capacity to pre-finance your work. At Global, we strive to go beyond the ordinary and deliver the perceived impossible in our quest for excellence. Our offices are located on Broad and Gurley Streets, first floor Raymond Building. For more information, contact us on cell numbers 0777-711-888, 0886-477-553, or 0777-005-555. Or better still, email us at gforwardingfirm26@gmail.com. Global Clearing and Forwarding Firm. We live for our customers. We keep our promises.
Yes, Mom.
What kind of song you singing so? That really?
So sorry. You are really making internet browsing listen, yo. Haven't you heard about the country giants in telecommunication business in Liberia that provide fast, reliable, and affordable internet and other related services?
No. Papa, be serious, man. Let it cheese on me.
Man, that the Liberia Telecommunication Corporation, and they are the national operator for all telecommunication services across the country, man.
Seriously? So what are some of the services they provide?
Now you are talking. Leteco provides the faster internet service, and that the one where people can call fiber optic broadband internet. Yes, man, with that, your internet will not even be so set. It will be so fast as if to say you are using 100G. It can even be used in schools, hospitals, churches, mosques, offices, homes, and even in high schools. Is that all? No, man. Leteco also provides co-location, track travel, and other ICT at the corner of Lee and Broad Street, or contact them through their email, sale@thetelco.com.lr. For more information, you can call these numbers 0778-250-190, 0778-250-191. For loans, 081-551-949, 0881-551-948.
Anyway. All right.
Africa to the coastal city of Accra, commercial from Monrovia to Accra, Lake and Abuja. Our flight and cabin crew are professional, courteous, and full of fun. Check in 2 pieces of free luggage to 42 kg in economy class and 50 kg in business class, and earn points anytime you fly Air Peace. For your bookings, log on to flyair.com or visit Lafi Travel and Tours, Broad Street, Monrovia, Liberia, and get his office at Rabos International Airport in Magidi County. Air Peace, your peace is our goal.
As Liberians prepare for the observance of the National Thanksgiving Day celebration, the religious advisor to the President of the Republic of Liberia, Reverend Nimle, is calling on the general public of the country to come together in one accord and worship the Lord through prayers and thanksgiving, slated for Thursday, 1st of November 2018, at the Providence Island at 10 a.m. Additionally, Reverend calls on other artists, musical groups to turn out at the ceremony and give thanks and worship the Almighty God through songs for His bountiful blessings upon. This announcement is signed by
All right, folks, good morning. Welcome back to the program. You're listening to the Costa Show. There's a song I like. There's a South African guy called Black Coffee. And he is a fantastic, phenomenal DJ. And you should look him up on YouTube, Fidel. He does instrumentals. I mean, great. This guy he holds concerts. And thousands of people come to his concert. And he just is DJing. I mean, he's great. I mean, and all his beats, typically African, authentically African beats. Very fantastic guy. It's called Black Coffee. I want to visit my man, Eric Philo Nangwe, one night, and they were having a little get together, and he put this thing up on the TV, and we were watching it. That was the first time I learned of this guy, Black Coffee. He has a song by David Guetta. It's called Drive. Go look it up. Black Coffee featuring Black Coffee and David Guetta. And David Guetta is the Western version of Black Coffee. Black Coffee is African guy. I mean, he does this great stuff. All right, we have our guest. We're gonna go take our guest now. She is a writer, a Liberian based in the United States of America, and she's written a children's book and that she wants to talk about. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. And let's talk about yourself first. Tell us your full name. Not that I don't know it, but I'd like you to introduce yourself and a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go to your book.
Okay, sure. My name is Mancine Logan. I'm a Liberian born in the United States. I've been writing for some years now. I actually received my Master's of Fine Arts in Writing, but I've always been a storyteller. So I really love telling stories, writing critical essays, and I'm very passionate about Liberia and everything that the culture, and everything that we are going through, our history, everything.
Great. So you've written this children's book, and tell us about the book. What is it? What is it about? And of course, they say every writer every book they write has an objective. What is the overarching objective of this book, this children's book?
Okay, so first let me tell you about the series. The series is called Adventures at Camp Pudicho, and it's about 10 animals that go to camp in the middle of the Liberian rainforest in Sapo National Park. And the overall objective of the series is to spread awareness about the critically endangered animals that are in Liberia's rainforest and the environment. The story that I wrote is called Better Together, and it's about the dream work of teamwork. It's pretty much showing that if we work together, we can get through all obstacles, and there's room for everyone to succeed. So it teaches kids those valuable lessons.
That's fantastic. And what's interesting is that you are of Liberian ancestry. Of course, you say you were born here, and it's interesting that you will write about begin a series writing about the Sapo National Park. I'm impressed and fascinated that your mind will go as far as the Sapo National Park. I mean, of course, people can read these things, but what inspired that? What inspired a particular series about the Sapo National Park?
So I would say the series was created by Ophelia Lewis. She actually introduced me to the park and the animals that are there. But what inspired it is the animals, the wildlife. And a lot of them are vulnerable and critically endangered. And as you may know, Liberia has a lot of animals that are very specific just to Liberia. You can't find them in many other regions.
Like the pygmy hippopotamus.
Yes, the pygmy hippo. You have the zebra antelope, you have the red colobus monkey, the drill monkey, pangolins, a lot, which we call the ant bear, a lot of animals that are specific. And once they are extinct, they're not going to exist in many other places. So it's our responsibility to make people aware of them. And once we are aware, then, we can grow up with a sense of responsibility, to protect those animals and the wildlife.
Yeah. So you write a children's book. And you talk about preserving the wildlife, rare species, endangered species, and you also portray a lesson of working together, synergism, what can be achieved when people work together. And you're trying to basically condition these your readers, their minds, to what the benefits are. Of course, they're tremendous when people work together. So you're basically accomplishing lots of things here by one series. That's interesting.
Thank you. That's the plan, and it's a good reminder. It's a good lesson to instill in young kids, and it's also a great reminder for adults, who will read this story to these kids, because even nowadays, there's so much competition, and people feel that only one person can succeed. Only one person can be on top. And we don't have to work together. We're very competitive, which I like competition. Competition is good, but at the end of the day, it's good to remember and to teach that when we work together, we can get further, and there's room for everyone.
We are stronger together.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
So, when do you go to press? When do you publish? When do we expect to be able to order this book on Amazon or, wherever? Barnes and Nobles?
Yes, so the book is available now. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Village Tales Publishing website, and it's available on the Camp Pudicho website.
Now, can you slowly and carefully read out call out the name of the book again, just so that those who are listening who would like to find the book can be able to find it and order it for their kids to read?
Absolutely. So the book is called Better Together. It's written by L.M. Logan, by myself. That's my children's author name.
Better Together.
Better Together, yeah. If you type that in, Better Together, by M. Logan, then you should be able to find it on Amazon and Village Hills Publishing and the Camp Pootie Show.
Because I mean, once you put it in the Google search engine, it should be able to pop up. Yeah.
Yes.
But
when readers buy it from the Camp Pootie Show website, then $1 goes towards park preservation. So we encourage
that is a good idea.
Yeah, and they can learn more about the park and different initiatives that are in place.
Good. Now, this is interesting. What got you into writing in the very first place?
Yeah, it's funny because I've always been a writer, but I didn't really know that it could be a profession. Because like most people, you're taught growing up certain careers,
Doctor, lawyer, engineer, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so when you're a part of the creative profession, you don't really know about it till you get older. But I kind of just fell into writing. And then once I fell into it, I started taking it more seriously, studying it, went back to school to learn more about my craft and to hone in on it. But it's just something that I've always done as far as storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
But writing kind of just happened.
Good. Well, I'm a talker. I don't write a lot. So, Masson, this is interesting, and so folks in Liberia can, of course, anywhere in the world they can order this book online, but how do you have any plans in trying to make it accessible to folks in Liberia? Of course, you don't have Amazon there. They could have friends and relatives of theirs buy it and send it to them in Liberia. But are you looking to not necessarily set up shop, but to try to supply some of it to have it available in Liberia?
Absolutely. So in December, the book will be available in Liberia. And I'm working on trying to get to Liberia and do some readings, but the book will be available. So
where exactly?
Excuse me?
Where exactly? Of course. Are you planning? When you identify locations where they're going to be? Are you going to let us know?
Yes, it will be identified. It will be updated on the website and on the social media pages. And if people want to stay updated, they can go to the website and sign up for a newsletter. So once it's available, you will get an email saying where it's available in Liberia.
Yeah, but just let us know too when it's available, and we'll help spread the word for you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yeah, to let people know that this is a book by this great Liberian writer who's now children's books. Is that where you specialize in? Is that where you have more passion for, or do you write adult books?
Right. So children's book is not my first passion.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I love storytelling, telling stories, my passion is actually cultural essays and critical essays. That's where my passion is. But when I was invited onto this project, it's so meaningful, and I feel it's so important, especially when Liberia is full of so many resources that are taken. I had to be a part of it and
to try to tell that story about the culture of exploitation and the lack of regard for the wildlife, and we take these things for granted. Other countries in the world, they're making frantic efforts and investing millions of dollars to preserve endangered species, like China, the giant panda, and they all over the world, in the Himalayas and in Nepal and all of those places. But what is it with us? You think what makes us? Because you see, for us, the wildlife for us is just food. Period. That's what it is, and it's a cultural thing. We see animals in the forest, in the jungle, as our food, and they are prey. We hunt them down, we kill them, and we eat them. And so, do you think by targeting these children, of course they're in the formative stages, and they're growing up, and you're telling a story that there are other values to having the wildlife preserved other than just hunting them? For example, there is a tourism benefit.
Yeah. Actually, there's a tourism benefit, there's an environmental benefit, because I believe that each thing created on this earth is here for a reason. So once it's eliminated, it throws off the balance. of nature, and we don't know.
And to support your claim, what you just said, each creation of God, wildlife specifically, is here for a purpose. If you're a Christian, I am a Christian. When God told Noah to build the ark, what did he do? He instructed Noah, go and fetch a pair of each animal. Yeah, male and female. Because God wanted to make sure none of his creation was wiped out, went extinct.
Exactly.
And Noah went and got every animal, the bears, snakes, or what, some of the most, what people will say, horrible and scary animals. He got all of them. So I agree with you. Every animal is out there for a reason, and they must be preserved.
Right. And so there's a delicate balance, with culture and with, hunting and eating, but also preserving and protecting and not overdoing and throwing off the balance until these animals no longer exist. So you're right, teaching kids at a young age that sense of responsibility, not just for the animals, but their environment. There's a lot of logging companies, people coming in, cutting down trees, cutting down the rainforest. And I don't know if a lot of people know, but Liberia has one of the most biodiverse rainforests in the region and in the world. There are so many different types of animals in that rainforest. So people go there and they study the plants, the trees, the insects, the animals. There are people also who go there just to hunt for sport. The zebra antelope is really hunted, and the forest antelope is hunted just for sport. So it's important that we aware of that, and we work with people who will put policies in place to protect, what we have, because we have something very special in the world.
It's true, we do. We do. I remember, not that I remember, because clearly I wasn't born, but history tells me that when Queen Elizabeth visited Liberia back when Tubman was president, Tubman gifted her with a pygmy hippo, and she was fascinated by it. And we know that we're the only country in the world, of over 200 countries in the world, that has the pygmy hippo. That is, we have over 7 billion people in the world, millions, perhaps millions of species of animals. And to know that a particular animal is unique to your country is extraordinary.
Yeah.
It's something which we must treasure and we must exploit in every positive way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very, very good. Well, folks, you're listening to the Costa Show. We have a Liberian writer, Manson Logan. She's written this children's book. It's a series, actually, and the first is called Better Together, right?
Yes.
That is the title. You can find it on Amazon. Look it up. Go make a Google search. It's out there for sale. You can order a copy. And she says in December, they're going to have it on the shelf somewhere in Liberia. Well, locations to be identified and will be duly announced so that you all can know where you can grab a copy. It's a children's book, but it's educative. And she seeks to tell a story, an environmental story. That is it. And you seem to have an environmental consciousness. How did you develop that?
I think it's just a part of my passion. I'm very sensitive to the environment. One time I watched a video about sea turtles and how plastic forks, when you throw them away, they get stuck in sea turtles in their nose. It was very graphic. But after that, I couldn't throw plastic forks away, and I rarely use.
So you are that environmentally conscious?
Yeah, it's just something that it's just on my heart.
That is interesting. It is. It's true. And in our part of the world, and you mentioned how Liberia has perhaps the most diverse rainforest. It's true. We also have the wettest rainforest in West Africa. In fact, it is stated that we have 40% of West Africa's rainforest. 40%. Yes. That is how rich we are in terms of that. It rains heaviest in Liberia than it does in Guinea, in the Ivory Coast, in any of those countries. And what we do by preserving that forest is that we help to offset, CO2 emissions released into the environment. And it has tremendous benefits. There have been these schemes where countries from Europe would come to Liberia and offer us deals where we should keep out, they call it carbon trading. keep your forest intact, keep your wildlife intact. In other, then we pay you money for, to offset, But it's interesting, and it's good that you're trying to teach kids this. So these books, at what level of kids can be able to read these books?
So with Better Together, it's for preschool aged kids. Their parents should read it to them.
Read it to them.
But for reading level 6-7 years old, they should be able to read it well.
Okay.
But the series.
So I could read this book to my son Henry.
Absolutely.
I will tell you this. We have this the flashcards. His mother would every day she would call, because he's in Italy at the moment, so she would call on video, and his grandma would hold the video, the phone to him, and she would pick up the flashcards. And when you show him you ask Henry, what's it? Apple. Then you go to what's the thing? O for octopus. Then he says octopus, and whenever he says it, he says in the water. That's the interesting part. He never says octopus without saying where it is. It's in the water.
That's how you learned it. The octopus is in the water, so you got to put it all together.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. All right, so let's see whether we can take some calls there before we part company with you this morning. Folks, you're listening to the Costa Show, and we're speaking with a Liberian writer. She's written a book. It's actually going to be a series, so expect other editions to come out. It's called Better Together, and it's by E.L. Manson. L.M., of course. L.M. Manson. Her Manson is spelled Manseen, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's my first two initials. L for Lakita, M Manson, last name Logan. That's where the book is.
Yeah. L Manson Logan.
Logan, yes.
Yeah, Logan, yeah. Find it. But just type Manson Logan and type Better Together. You'll find it. Oh, the internet is amazing. It's amazing. Just couple those two things together and you will definitely find it. So we're going to take a few calls there before we part the company with her. Reading is great. It's powerful. Reading to your kids is a powerful thing. When they're in that's when their brains are like sponges. They can absorb things and remember them. Kids will tell you when I was little, my mother would read these books. They will remember those things as adults. Yeah, it's a powerful thing to read to your children. Very powerful. And then it makes them, when they grow up, they become susceptible to indulging themselves in reading by themselves.
Yes.
And it's a good thing to be able to cultivate and nurture that thing in them. And they would, hone that skill themselves when they grow up. Let's take some calls there, Fidel.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. This is Dwayne Bowler. How are you?
We're doing good, Mr. Bowler. Welcome to the program.
Can you hear me? I can barely hear you.
Yep. We're hearing you.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, very well. I'd like to say thanks and appreciation to the lady in studio, and I'd like to ask her if she has seen any of Rachel Carson's work and what is her own impression. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Manson, did you hear him? He asked whether you've seen any of Rachel Carson's work.
I have not, but can you catch me up?
Okay, I'm gonna Google search that as anybody would Google search you. So let's take some more calls there. I haven't heard that myself. I haven't heard about him myself. Let's take a few more calls and come back to her.
Yeah, I'm kind of recording it from the 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, are you getting me?
Yeah, you.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, when we just explore the reading studio, these are maybe helpful one, passion, somebody has a passion, and then to show to our Liberian people, this way, especially our children, you understand? I remember once I started training from the UK, Liberia, the other time doing early in the game. Education is reading. When you read, your mind open up, you clap, things gradually. So, let me appreciate her for at least bringing that, at least so our children can learn more.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Manson, I just did some research. Rachel Carson, that Mr. Dweb Bolin mentioned, and the reason why I think this is the person he's referring to is because Mr. Bolin is a passionate professional environmentalist. So Rachel Carson was an American marine biologist, author, and conservationist whose book Silent Spring and other writings are credited with advancing the global environmental movement. You see that? Okay, so that's who Rachel Carson is. I didn't know. Rachel Carson. Rachel Louise Carson.
Now that I know, I will look her up and read more about her.
So she's kind of like you. I think that's why he mentioned her. Writing books and trying to advocate through your writing for the environment, and at the same time teaching kids. Right. That's very, very important. It's interesting how people who may not even know each other or hear of each other would be inspired to do just about the same thing. Who may have lived in different periods across different time spans, but would be in sync somehow. That's fascinating, isn't it?
That is, and it's pretty much the same thing no matter what time frame we're in. We're under the same sun, so there's nothing new.
The conditions are pretty, similar. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Let's take 2 more calls there, Fidel, and come back to our guests to close up.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Doing good.
This is Elijah Mbunda calling from Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
I express my thanks and gratitude to our beautiful sisters and doctors, Mrs. Robin, for your great effort you have achieved. In education, reading and writing and speaking is the most foundation in education, in civilization. When you cannot read, you cannot write, you will not understand, and you cannot speak, you will not understand what is actually education means. But I applaud you for your great effort, that you have come in to educate or to make our kids to come out and know how we live in our country, how our geographical system looks, and how it is. That will be most important. We need more and more than you people to come in this country to write and let us understand. If you don't write, we cannot understand nothing. If you write, every year or 2, 3, we'll understand more and more. Thank you. Congratulations. We welcome you.
Thank you. One more person. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, Good morning, Costa.
Morning.
Let me comment the radio studio. First of all, let me comment the radio studio. I want to say thank you for the hard work done. But I actually call for a different purpose.
No, but we have her now. She will take leave shortly, and we will revert to our original topics. Yeah. Thank you. Let's take another caller, and we'll come to Miss Logan to close up.
Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning, Dr. I want to make a check it and myself from Costa Bolivar. Sister, I want to say we are proud of you and want to tell you that you should keep it on. May Allah in heaven bless you, and may Allah be a walking stick. Thank you ever so much. God bless you.
Okay. Thank you very much. We often say this, which is true, that Liberians don't read. We don't have a reading culture. It is true, but it can be changed. You know why? And we can begin with the kids, targeting the children. When the children begin to read, they grow up. It's gonna, they say train a child in such a way so that when they grow up, they will never depart from it. Mm-hmm. Yep. So,
I just wanted to add to that. People were saying we need more books, and the Village Tales Publishing, they actually have a campaign, Reading Our World. And there are a lot of Liberian writers actually who have written children's stories, to change that reading culture, within our community, and to also share with the rest of the world. So we have to do a better job, putting it out there so people can make it accessible, and that they can know that it's available. But definitely check that out.
Yep. Thank you very much. So let's give you a minute to close up.
All right. Oh, sorry. Well, thank you for having me. Once again, Better Together will be in Liberia, and right now it's on Amazon.com and Camp Pooticho. That's CampPootiEcho.com. So,
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Keep us posted, and when you go to Liberia, I'll be in Liberia in December as well.
Okay.
So let's see what we can do when you're in Liberia. We can perhaps do a show there, and you know, show the books off to people, the hard copies, you know, that folks can be able to buy. All right. All right. Bye bye. There you go.
Right, bye. Thank you.
All right. Did I lose Fidel? Fidel, are you there? Did I lose you? I did lose Fidel. I hung up on Fidel. Let me reconnect with Liberia. Folks, welcome. If you're just tuning in to the Costa Show, if you've been with us, of course, you know, stay tuned. We've got how many more minutes to go? 20 more minutes to go. And let's exhaust then.
Your Honor.
Yeah, I did lose you. I made a mistake. I hung up. Yeah, so I'm back with you. So we go back to our original talking points. We have to spice the conversation up, bring other people on, have other important things to talk about, like what they were talking about the book. That's pretty important. Then the gas thing. Now you're going to notice that lots of gas stations will be open. Yesterday, my big CIC did a post and tagged me in it. He was crying about the gas thing. He spent almost an hour or more than an hour at a gas station trying to buy gas. And it is because lots of gas stations, and there is not a shortage of gasoline on the market. I have said it repeatedly, and I will say it again. The situation is, or has been, that gas importers, gas dealers, many of the people who import gas also run the gas stations, right, Fidel? That's the way to do it. So they've said, hey, the government is yet to set the new price, to adjust the gas price. So what we're going to do, the petroleum prices, gas and fuel, we're going to withhold our gas. We're going to hold our gas until the government makes the adjustment in the price so that we can be viable and profitable. So the moment the government did that yesterday, and I gave you the prices, a gallon of gasoline has been approved. The negotiation has been consummated between the LPRC and the Ministry of Commerce on one hand, and versus the importers on the other hand. The negotiations were successfully consummated yesterday, and what they agree on is favorable both to the importers and to the government, and it benefits the people. So a gallon of gasoline now, the price has gone up to $3.70 per gallon of gasoline. That is the pump price. Now the wholesale price is different, but that is a pump price. The wholesale price is $3.52, I believe. So the margin that the wholesaler gets, of course, is 18 cents. That's not our business. That doesn't concern us. But the pump price is $3.70. That's very important for you to know that. Or the equivalent in LD is $580. So it's moved up from $540 to $580. That is a 40 Liberian dollar increment. Now, the pump price of diesel, or fuel as we call it, is now $3.95. I believe that's what it is, $3.95. And the equivalent in LD is 615 Liberian dollars. Now, Liberia has the cheapest gas, other than, after Sierra Leone. Liberia, gas is cheaper. It's 45 cents cheaper in Liberia than it is in the Ivory Coast. It is 33 cents cheaper in Liberia than in Ghana. Sierra Leone is the only country in the region that has gasoline at a cheaper price than us by 9 cents per gallon. Now, some folks have raised this with me that the size of our gallon is smaller. Now, I cannot verify that. But they've raised this subject with me. I don't know that. I am in no position to say whether that is true or not. But what I can tell you is that the price of a gallon of gas and the price of a gallon of fuel is much significantly cheaper or lower in Liberia than it is in the West African sub-region. The Ivory Coast pays more for gas. It's $4.12, why it is $3.70 in Liberia. Do the math. You will see the difference. Ghana is actually $4.12. I have the whole list here. And where can you find it? globalpetrolprices.com. All one word in lowercase. Just Google search globalpetrolprices.com. You can find the price or the prices of gasoline and fuel oil in various countries around the world. You can do that. The price of petroleum has also gone up in America. I've seen some people say, oh, but why the government would increase gas than the government making gas? The government does not make gasoline. You see, this is exactly where some of you and I disagree. I've seen dishonest opposition people. I mean, completely dishonest people. I know they know the truth, so I'm not going to say ignorant people. They know the facts, but they are so dishonest that they are trying to paint a picture that the government has deliberately and willfully and maliciously and diabolically increased the price of gasoline in order to, they would have you believe, to suffer the Liberian people. But that is not the case. If I suspected that the government wants to do anything to suffer you, I would be the first to tell you. In fact, what the government has done adversely, which has had an adverse effect, is the government has artificially held the price of petroleum products. For 5 months, this government refused to make upward adjustment in the price of petroleum products, as it should, consistent in conformity with price increase on the global or on the world market of petroleum prices. You see, so let's be fair. Like I said, there are tons of things on which you can criticize the government, but do not try to lie to the people. And some of you were saying, oh, there's no gas in the country. That is not true. The tanks at LPRC, they've got gas, they've got fuel. The problem has not been the availability of gasoline and fuel in the country. It's been the importers were holding their product. They were not selling because they were trying to get the government to increase the price before they release their product. And I would do the same thing. If I were a petroleum importer and the price of petroleum on the world market increased and the government of Liberia decided that they don't want to make an upward adjustment in the price or to increase the price in lieu of global price increases, I would withhold. I would hold my product. I would not sell my gas. Why? I wait and negotiate with the government to increase the price. Because if I sell at lower price for product that I bought at a higher price, I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose. So for the last 5 months, the government has suppressed the importers. They've been negotiating with them, suppressing them, trying not to increase the price because the government doesn't want the public to complain. But we do not produce gasoline. Even the country that is the world's largest producer of petroleum products or crude oil has increased gas. I live in America. I buy gas. To fill my tank is $75 US. I use premium. No, that's a big car. But the point I'm making is that gasoline price has gone up in the US. It's gone up all over the world because OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exploiting Countries, OPEC, determines quota per country, barrels per day. Barrels per day. BPD. That's what it means. 15 million barrels per day, 11 million. The last time I checked, America produces, I think, 11 or 12 million barrels per day. I think 12, yeah, something like that. In that neighborhood. So these countries are the ones that determine what petroleum prices will be. And even the countries that produce the most, America, Saudi Arabia, Russia, those countries themselves do not have subsidized gas. Now, I've also seen some opposition people say, somebody's asked me, what's the price of gas in Sierra Leone? The price of gas in Sierra Leone is actually $3.61. That's the price of gasoline in Sierra Leone, my brother. $3.61. If you think I'm lying, go to this website, globalpetrolprice.com. Go and read. Don't ask me because some of you will think I'm lying because I'm defending the government. I try to defend the facts. So, I've also seen some people say, oh, the government should subsidize gas. Does this government have money to subsidize gas? No, the government doesn't have money to subsidize gas. Are you freaking kidding me? Now, for those of you who do not understand what that means, to subsidize a commodity, it means they penny are holding in my hand, that $5. because the pen important to plenty Liberian people, so the government will say, okay, we the government will pay $3 for the pen. Then you will pay the $7. So to you now, you're paying for the pen for $7, but the pen are not $7, the pen are $10, but government paying $3, you're paying $7. That's the reason why. So you see, thank you. America produces 10.9 million, 11 million, somewhere around there. Yeah, 10.5 something. Yeah, that's why America produces. America is the world's largest producer of crude oil. So the thing is, you're saying government should subsidize gas price. To do subsidies, you must have a lot of money. Now, back in the day, President Tubman subsidized rice. Liberian people were buying rice. They thought rice was cheap because they don't know. Most Liberians are not educated people. And then many of the people who are educated are poorly educated, and many of the people who are educated are also ignorant. That is a fact. So they don't know these things. Now, Tubman was subsidizing rice. The Liberian people thought rice was cheap. Oh, they really did think rice was cheap. They really believed that at the time. But rice was not cheap. Because the government has so much freaking money, Tubman decided these Liberian people, they love their rice business. What I would do is I would pay a portion of the price of the rice to create the impression that rice is cheap. So as long as the rice is cheap, they will be happy, they will love me, and they will have no problem about how long I stay in power. And it worked. The subsidization of rice by President Tubman worked. It was a very effective political tool. It stabilized the country. It kept the Liberian people happy. As long as they had their rights to eat, they didn't care how many trips abroad Tubman made in his yacht, enjoying himself and throwing lavish parties. The Liberian people didn't really care. But then when Talbot came to power, my kind of leader, a visionary, a progressive leader, Talbot said, let's go back to the soil. We're going to produce rice on our own. We're going to remove the subsidy on rice. He said, it's making us lazy. Oh, when Talbot did that, that is when the progressives say, oh, Talbot is bad. Talbot has increased the price of rice and blah, blah, blah. Then the progressives, like Bacchus Matthews said, in fact, give us power and we could even make rice $9 per bag. And of course, the gullible Liberian people believe that. They believe that Talbot made rice expensive. They actually did believe that. But Talbot simply removed the subsidy on the price of rice. So government does not have the money to subsidize anything. The government can barely run the country. They can barely run a balanced budget. Then you're talking about subsidizing. You know what it means? You're talking about putting maybe $10, $15 million in the budget each year to pay a portion of the price of gasoline. Where are we getting that money from? No. So that's it there, my people. Let's go to the phone lines and take some calls there. Gasoline is cheaper in Liberia than it is in those countries near us. It is a fact. Let's take some calls.
0770-102-102-086-010-383. Good morning.
Good morning, Fidel. Good morning, Alessandro Pedro Costa.
What are we coming from again?
Costa, I'm telling you, thank you very much. Thank you for educating a lot of people in this country. But my brother, you do well. You do well and do well. I don't call you to pray for you. May God guide you for your job. May God Almighty bless you. Your knowledge when you're singing, may God Almighty give to you the correct one.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much. And I return the sentiments. I appreciate them. Let's take some more calls there. We've got 7 more minutes to go before our time is up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, sir. I'm Mohammed Kamara from Costa.
Let's say you, Mohammed.
Yeah, no, sir.
Yep.
Our Costa was speaking on the tale of the politicians in this country. Not to say they don't know the going in the war or they don't read the war market. But the only thing is to please themselves. And the people they will say to please other people. So that why when they go on and they only focus on like one, they will not focus on any other country. They will not say, oh yeah, this is happening, it's war on it. But they will say, only in that war this is happening. So thank you for the information so now you gave us. We appreciate your effort. Keep on doing it, don't give up. Don't be detailed with any other question that the people maybe why you say this one day. For me, as a board activity, well, I said it to the party and I don't want to work in this government. I said it for where God for me, and I will always be satisfied with it. But I want you the right thing done at the right time. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, my brother. Thank you very much. Let's take some more calls before we close up here this morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Okay.
Yeah, Chairman Costa, how are you?
I'm doing good, my brother. Thank God.
I'm blessed God for your life. I don't know the kind of way. I don't know what the head of God gives you. I don't know because every document I go down, you get different way of to discuss it. You pray that God give. If I have my own will, I will ask you to give me some of the offering. Very clever. I don't know. A lot of people say that you not go to school, you not know nothing, but the thing you're doing. The more than even the degree is, I don't know, PhD or whatsoever. Yeah, I don't know. If I have my own way, Costa, I have my 8-year-old son. Now, as I told you, I'm a visual impairment. But if I have my own way, Costa, I would just say, just take my son to be with you, to just inspire that knowledge in him. So you can be one of the role models in his life. Forever. Different. I've been listening to you from the first station, Half FM, until you take out to Voice FM, until you come all the way to Shatter, and now you come Who's FM. I'm so happy of you, my brother.
Thank you.
On right of it, but it's just like I don't have the need.
I hope to see you when I come to Liberia. Come find me when I come to Liberia in December.
It's okay. All right. So he said you should find him when he comes to Liberia. Thank you, my brother.
I will be in Liberia in December. School closes then. December the 18th is when my school closes for the semester. I will come to Liberia for 1 month. So I look forward to meeting you. As I look forward to meeting people every day. You know, good to meet people. And don't mind what they say. You know, we ain't know nothing. Yeah, we agree. We ain't know nothing. But we make. And, you know, when people say they think that I'm clever, I don't think I'm clever. I really don't think so. I think I work very hard to research, to find information. It's a lot of work. Why? You see, during the delivery process, that's the easier part. You know, where we sit on the radio and just present the facts or the things that we've researched, it's not hard. But the research work was actually hard. And it's not hard when you become accustomed to it, when it becomes a part of your life. And so you want to dig up something, you want to know stuff. It's very easy. Thanks to technology, every information is at the click of the mouse or your phone. Just a few clicks away and you can find anything. And so that is the situation. And so and if you want your son to be smart, just let him read. Encourage him to read. Incentivize it. You know, you have a little gift you want to give him a book and tell him to read it and come and explain to you, and then tell him, I will give you something, I will do this. You know, you incentivize it. Reading is powerful. I did a lot of reading when I was growing up. A lot. And most of the things I read had nothing to do with school. It was extracurricular material. I just wanted to know stuff. I just wanted to read stuff. And it's important because at the end of the day, it all comes back to it makes you a better communicator, a better conversationalist. It makes you a better, you know, people respect you based on how you sound and all that kind of stuff. It really does work, you know. And so I'm far from clever. I don't think I'm clever. I think I'm just a guy who works very hard to try to learn stuff. And anybody can do what I can do. Anybody. Your children can learn it. You can encourage them to do so. Like, I'm very proud. My son, Henry Jr., he's not even 3. But, I mean, every day his mother makes sure he reads his stuff, his flashcards, you know. Henry is smart. If you give him a puzzle, you know, he will put the whole thing together. You know, he put the whole puzzle thing together. Children's puzzle. I mean, he's smart. And you can indoctrinate them. You can inculcate that thing in them. And then it can become a part of their life. And it is very important. The only way we can acquire knowledge is to read. Reading is the tool. It's the weapon. It's powerful. Mm-hmm. That's what we can do. And anybody can read. Books are cheap. The cheapest things are books. Fida. You know, it's not Gucci shoes or this watch I'm wearing. These things, they mean nothing. Books are very cheap, but books are very powerful. The knowledge it gives you is powerful. Trust me, my friends. Trust me. The only reason why many of you listen to me, you have been listening to me for all these years, my dear brother, is because you believe that I bring something to the table. If you didn't believe that I have anything to contribute, you would not be listening. And so your children can do the same. Your son, your 8-year-old son. And I look forward to meeting you when I come to Liberia in December. Let's go back to the lines and let's take 2 more calls. And we'll call it quits this morning. And that's another thing Liberian people say, let's call it quit. No. When you say call it quit, you see, it's like a slang. It's like a saying. It's a phrase. The right and correct way is to say call it quits. You have to add S to the quit. You can't say call it quit. No. Never, ever. It's wrong. It's call it quits. Yeah. Sometimes the things that you believe are right, they are not right. They're wrong. Simple. Simple little things that we say the wrong way. But how do you learn these things? You learn them by reading. Reading voraciously. Like when I was growing up, I wanted to be the smartest guy. When I opened my mouth, I want everybody to be impressed. And it worked. It really worked. I'm proud. I'm humble. And I'm not a genius. I just read a lot. It's a lot of work. But you can do it. And sometimes people come up to me, come to my Facebook and be like, Henry, I want to be a great talk show host. Anybody can do what we do. Absolutely anybody. But to do it, you have to be willing to put in the work. It's a lot of work. And you want to be like Costa? Of course, you can be better than Costa. All you need to do is to read harder, read longer than Costa. Make it your passion. You know, when my friends used to go hang out to the club, and do you know the first time I ever went to a club? I was a full-grown man. The very first time I went to a nightclub, because it wasn't part of me. You know, I was slow when it comes to the girls. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't smooth, and you know, I didn't have, you know, all those techniques. I was very slow. I mean, I was very not so good with the girls. But in an argument, in a debate, oh God, man, that's when I would get in my element. Yes, of course, it's passion. You have to immerse yourself into it, and it has to become part of your life and become, you know, almost inseparable, an inseparable characteristic of you. And it pays. And thanks to the fact that I lived with an academic, Jeremiah Walker. You know, he's a man who used to love books. He had a library, and I would just read, see all the books. Paul Ball and me came from living with my mother in Douala, Sanon Ya. You know, where whenever we saw books, they were only we only tore the paper out to sell stuff in it, you know. But I went to a house now where they had a whole library in the house, all these books. Well, the internet was not around then. I mean, it was not even in Liberia, but we have books, and I just wanted to read stuff. Yeah, so that's it. That's the secret. Read. It's the only way. Nobody is born with knowledge. Yeah, some people are born with just some. They have extra abilities, the likes of Albert Einstein. Their IQs are higher than a normal person. But, of course, to be respected for your intellect is to read and to improve your mind. The mind is the greatest and most powerful weapon. Trust me. There is nothing greater. You know, like somebody asked me a question one day, and they said, Costa, honestly, if you had one wish, and if God were to ask you one wish, and I would grant it, what would that wish be? Oh, make me a genius. Of course, I love money. I want to have a lot of money to be or do a lot of great stuff. But I believe the greatest thing I want is to become a genius in whatever. You know, something great. The mind is powerful. You can't kill the mind. You can kill everything. That is the one thing you cannot will to anybody. Your pa can have PhD, and he may leave you properties, but he cannot leave you his PhD. He dies with it. That's the way it works. All right. So, folks, this brings us to a close of today's broadcast of the program. I'm Henry Costa. Fidel City is easy now. I'm going to have to be sitting up straight, Fidel, like a soldier man. Because the doctor said I have to sit up straight with chest up because I'm heavy and I can't just sit in a slumpy way. I can't just sit like that, slump over in a chair or something, because then I would be putting pressure, straining my disc, and so I have to learn how to sit up. Yep, it's important. All right, folks. So there you have it. God bless you all. We'll be back here tomorrow, same time, 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, tomorrow Thanksgiving Day, like, bro. Thank God. No. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow is Thursday. So yeah, we will not be here tomorrow. We will be back on Friday, and then November the 4th, elections in America. Americans are voting right across this country. I have a few candidates in the American elections that I am rooting for. I'm not voting for them because I cannot vote. I'm not an American citizen, but I'm rooting for them. I hope they win. There's a guy called Beto O'Rourke. Now, Beto O'Rourke, Beto, B-E-T-O. His real name is Robert, but of course in Texas, in that part of Texas where he's from, when your name is Alberto or Robert, when you're born, you're called Beto. Now, how do I know this? I read. Again, I read. Beto O'Rourke is a Democrat running for senator against the Republican Ted Cruz, the far-right Republican Ted Cruz. And Beto O'Rourke is an amazing guy. This guy has raised more money as a senatorial candidate than any senatorial candidate in the history of American politics. Let me give an example. In the last 3 months, Beto O'Rourke has raised over $38 million just in 3 months. And he's not running for president. He's running for senator. Now, what he's done, he has visited over all 200 towns across Texas. He has visited every part of Texas, talking to the people, town hall meetings. He is not a Democratic hardliner. The Democrats have not won any statewide election in Texas. Texas is an ultra-red state. They vote Republican. The last time a Democrat won a statewide election, now what do I mean by statewide election? An entire state. That would be Senate, Senator, or Governor. A statewide election. Now, there are Democrats who have been elected or who are currently serving in the United States. Beto O'Rourke is a representative. He's a representative in the U.S. Congress from Texas, and he's a Democrat. But no Democrat has won a statewide election in Texas for the last 30 years. Now, what Beto O'Rourke is doing, he's visited all 240 counties across the state. All 240 counties this guy has been to. It's amazing. This guy is the white Barack Obama. I'm telling you, he is extraordinary. He raised more money than Barack Obama. Obama was running for senator. Now, Beto O'Rourke is an amazing, extraordinary guy. But has he plateaued? Now, what do I mean by plateaued? You see, they say a Democrat, I mean, he's done great. He's the last poll I saw between him and Ted Cruz, who's running for re-election, it's just about 4-5 percentage points between the two of them. 4-5 percentage points. Now, can Beto O'Rourke, as extraordinarily popular as he is, can he pull it off? Can he be the first Democrat to win a statewide election in a state, in the ultra-red state of Texas? That is what Beto O'Rourke has to do. Can he do that? Of course, as I said, I'm rooting for this guy. This guy is amazing. So that is one person I support. I want Beto O'Rourke to win. And when he wins, I want him to run for president. He is going to be my candidate for president. Not that I can vote, but because the guy is extraordinary. You know why I like him? Let me tell you why I like Beto O'Rourke. And do you know why people love him? Why they're giving him more money than any senatorial candidate in America has ever made or raised? It's because he's so honest. He speaks his mind. He is not bound by party conventions or loyalty and stuff like that. No. He speaks his mind. He tells you how he feels. That's who Beto O'Rourke is. He's an amazing guy. I just love him. I just love good people. So I want Beto O'Rourke to win. And when he wins, he's going to run for president. And when he runs for president, he's going to become president of America. Because what he's done in Texas, if he can replicate that across the United States of America, he's going to become president of America. Beto O'Rourke. I love the dude. Now there's another guy. He's the mayor of Tallahassee. Tallahassee is the capital of the state of Florida, one of the most prosperous cities in America. He's in a gubernatorial election, running for governor of Florida. He's a black guy. Now, he is an amazing guy. I've been following this guy for a while, only when this election started. And I'm telling you a little bit about the U.S. elections now. They're going to be voting on the 4th. So I just thought to tell you a little bit about it before we go feed up. Just please bear with me. So this guy is running in Florida. This is the last person I'm going to talk about. 2 persons I'm supporting. I want them to win. And this black guy, he's awesome. He's a great guy. Gillum. He's currently leading, and Florida is a Republican state. But Gillum is doing better. Andrew Gillum. He's actually doing better. And he's captivated the attention of the nation as well. Andrew Gillum has become an American political celebrity. Yep. He's a fantastic guy. He's currently leading in the polls. The Republican guy, his opponent, is behind in the poll. And this, guy is expected to win. And I hope he wins. So those are the 2 people I'm rooting for that I'm hoping will win. Beto O'Rourke, the senatorial candidate of the Democratic Party in the state of Texas, and the other guy, Andrew Gillum, the African-American guy running for governor of the state of Florida. Those 2 people, my money is on them. My money is on them. Thank you very much, folks. God bless you. Have yourselves a wonderful day.
I got your prediction marked down already.
Oh, yeah. Mark it. Those are my 2 candidates I'm hoping will win. I hope they win. Definitely.
Scenario.
No, but here is the thing, Fidel. Andrew Gillum is leading in the polls in Florida. He's leading his Republican rival, Rantes or something, Durantes or something. Ron Durantes. But Beto O'Rourke is trailing. He's actually behind in the polls, but by a small margin. So I am more confident that Andrew Gillum will win, and then I am more optimistic. You see, there's a difference between confidence and optimism. I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic that Beto O'Rourke will win. I hope. Texas is one of the worst states in the country in terms of voting. Texas, they don't vote. In fact, they rank number 49 in the U.S. They're the 2nd worst state in America in terms of voting. They don't vote. They rank number 49 in terms of voting. And they have a lot of people, but they don't like to vote. They don't like to vote. And if the Hispanics came out, if they got mobilized and they whipped up and came out to vote, it would change the voting pattern in Texas, because Hispanics traditionally vote the Democratic Party. But the Democratic Party has not done a good job in mobilizing the Hispanic base. Now, the state of Texas has only 43% of the people white. Only 43% white in Texas. Can you imagine? Texas is only 43% white. If you didn't know that, just so you know. 43% of Texans are white, and then 57% they are blacks and they are Hispanics or Latinos. 38% of Texans are Latinos. 38% are Latinos. If the Latinos come out, when they begin to come out to vote, trust me, no Republican will be elected in Texas unless you are extraordinary. Because the Latinos vote the Democratic Party. That's it. There you have it, folks. Have yourselves a very blessed day, and we'll be back here on Friday. Friday will be what day, Phil? The 2nd? The 2nd of November. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.